And we go back to row 16. Oh, and around goes Carson Hocevar. That gives you a little insight into the conditions right now.
Yeah, I wonder if he was just trying to test the grip limits. Obviously, he found them.
He sure did. Let's have a look.
What happened? Yeah. It's way up high, but I've seen several drivers up there and just tried to throttle up and understand how much grip he had, and around it goes. That will give NASCAR a little bit of hesitation to drop the green flag right now.
This rain setup.
A little slick off 4.
This rain setup currently, at the road courses, you're going to see windshield wipers, running lights, mud flaps that control the spray. But here at the ovals, really the only change to the car is a defrogger on the inside and the wet weather tires. They can make chassis adjustments, but the idea is that these cars were not expected to run in falling rain, and that's the current situation. You see the windshield wipers on the Toyota Camry pace car. So we have yet to hear from NASCAR exactly how long we're going to ride around. I really think we're having a little bit of too much falling rain, so I think they're going to bring the drivers back down pit road. Now look, don't let this concern you. The weather actually doesn't look awful. This rain, I think, is moving out.
It's the 45 of Tyler Reddick for 23.11 who will lead the field to green with Josh Berry on the inside. Technically, we're not racing in the rain, but we sure are racing on a wet racetrack. This is the Dollar Tree 301 New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Let's go! Berry defends from the inside. Van Gisbergen looks for that. And the pole man is way out wide and way up high.
A lot of wheel spin on the restart from the 11 of Denny Hamlin. He checked that outside lane up.
William Byron and Shane Van Gisbergen, they went down on that low line, and that was productive because Josh Berry has lost 1 and 2 positions. Van Gisbergen goes to third, runs that low line with Ty Gibbs and Kyle Larson as Reddick leads. Wow, and around goes the race leader. Reddick's lost it off turn 4, the same spot that Carson Hocevar did. And Denny Hamlin does an excellent job to try and bring his car to a stop without colliding with the 45 too hard. Busch is in it as well.
Yeah, it looked like there was slight damage to the left front of the 11. We'll have to see exactly how much. It doesn't look like there's a lot of damage to the 17. I thought the 45 kind of spun out all on his own. Let's take a look. He gets up very, very high, kind of gasses it up. Yeah, just breaks traction instantly. I couldn't tell if it was across one of the paving seams.
That's what I was looking at, Steve. I'm really curious. He was way high, and then he turned and he came across the racetrack. And these seams, here, let's follow it. See the black line below him? It's a really defined black line. Right rear tire gets on that and on that painted line. And I wonder if just for some reason, just not as much grip there. I mean, almost as soon as he got on that right rear seam, the right rear got on that seam, around it came.
And Denny thought he was going to be fine, and then
cars just don't stop as well in the rain as they would in dry conditions.
Here's the view from the 11. Please stop, please stop, please stop, please stop.
We talked about it, the risk versus reward, right? And the question that the driver has to always have is, how much grip do I really have? And the only way to find out, unfortunately, is to go past it.
Denny did a good job. The contact wasn't that bad. We're back in Loudon. USA Sports coverage of NASCAR is brought to you by Dollar Tree, delivering value, convenience, and discovery every day for over 40 years. Bank of America, what would you like the power to do? Applebee's, late night half-price appetizers. And by Toyota, let's go places. Rolling around under caution after a spin on the first flying lap in this Dollar Tree 301 presented by Toyota. As you ride aboard the Dollar Tree Toyota of Eric Jones.
Great shot right there of the in-car rear view mirror. It's actually a camera. Drivers can position it in different places. Eric Jones has decided to put it basically right in front of him, Steve, where he doesn't have to really move his eyes or anything. It's always there. Look how clear that view is from looking at the car behind him.
Yeah, I love that.
Tyler Reddick did have a clear view when he led the race, but he spun coming out of turn 4. Let's get an update on the 45 with Dave Burns.
And Lee, he came to pit road. That team asked him, do you feel like you damaged those tires locking him down? He said yes. So they changed all 4. The team's getting a good look at them. And then Tyler added one thing. Hey, can you guys thank the 11 for not running me over?
Boss and employee. It was a close call for sure. What's happening for Christopher Bell? Let's have a listen.
I'm already seeing some dry patches. I don't know if you are. Yes, sir. 10-4. It's going to be very mission critical to find the wet and keep these tires cool.
As in the opposite, there's the camera. You can't really see it. It's over there behind the bar. So to your point, Jeff, different locations. Already talking about drive positioning. You mentioned it, barely one lap under green. So it should drive very quickly if we can get multiple laps.
William Byron, Shane Van Gisbergen. That will be the revised front row as they come towards the Echo Park restart zone. And away we go. Let's try and get into some racing rhythm. Challenging conditions. Ty Gibbs is pushing Shane Van Gisbergen on that inside line. Byron is up high. SVG dives for that low line. It worked on the first flying lap. Look at this, split decisions. Low or high, what's going to work best?
The middle doesn't work. I mean, the guys that tried the middle went straight backwards.
Josh Berry, Christopher Bell. Ty Gibbs down low. Here comes Ross Chastain on the inside of Alex Bowman.
Bell trying to work side by side with Berry. He's going to stay at the quarter panel. SVG back to the top lane. Gibbs is going to try to fill the hole as well. So top looks to be more popular. First taker on the bottom, the one of Chastain. Now Bell runs the cushion. Jumps to the outside of Berry. Remember, it was Bell who was successful here in the rain last time. Nice defense by Berry. Bell, I think, is going to try the apron this time.
Bell is on full offense right here. He is not waiting around.
It's like watching a slicked off dirt track. Moisture on the bottom, cushion on the top. I don't know which lane you want to be in.
Big mover in the pack too is Connor Zilic in the 88 for Trackhouse Racing. Made huge news this week announcing he's off to Hendrick Motorsports in 2028. And look at him there. He's caught who will be his future teammate in Kyle Larson.
Yeah, different look on that 88 this week. Oh, side by side for second, SVG and Bell. Bell is loving this.
3 years ago, do you think SVG would have imagined that he'd be running an oval in the rain in a NASCAR Cup race trying to make the chase?
Not a chance. But he's relishing the opportunity. I love the variable lines and how they're exploring them, experimenting with them. As William Byron leads the way.
A lot of drivers talk about dirt track racers seem to have a little bit of an advantage in the rain, not because they are used to driving in the slick, but because of their willingness to go do what Christopher Bell just did. Go find some grip somewhere else. On dirt track racing, you're always looking for a different groove. Christopher Bell is one of the best dirt racers in the country.
For reference on pace, the leaders are running mid 34-second laps. So about, what do we want to call that? About probably 7 or 8 seconds off pace.
Christopher Bell,
sorry, about 4 seconds off pace, 5 seconds off pace. I figure they're going to run about 30s in the race, so 4 seconds slower. It doesn't seem like a whole lot, really.
Corlick Racing's Ty Dillon has had a nice start as well. He's made up 12 positions from the start. So he's surging forward. He's still outside the top 20, but he's made up plenty of positions deeper in the field.
You kind of feel like drivers have started to get into a rhythm, starting to understand where their car wants to be. But that's going to change. You're going to have to move your car around as the drying starts. Christopher Bell making an aggressive move.
Trying to drive it on deep into turn 3 on the inside of William Byron. Which line's going to be more productive here? Here they come, off turn 4. Byron has the greater run, the greater momentum on that high line and maintains the lead.
Last lap of the race, fastest lap for Bell of anyone in the field.
Cars are starting to settle down a little bit
Yeah.
as the drying's continuing.
Confidence going up.
And more dry lines appearing if you watch the track surface carefully. Byron Bell, Shane Van Gisbergen, Ty Gibbs, Josh Berry, Ryan Blaney, defending race winner, Chase Briscoe, Eric Jones in the top 10, and Connor Zilic.
Bell tried that bottom in 3 and 4, and it didn't come close to working. I mean, he lost a lot of space. See the drying starting to happen in that third groove.
As you see the Menards, Team Penske Ford there of Ryan Blaney, his teammate, Austin Cindric, who did not have a good qualifying, is roaring his way through the field. Cindric has made up 11 positions to be in 15th. Important for him to get a good result today because he's in 15th in the chase standings.
Look at this top lane starting to dry out. You can see why everybody wants to be there. All the spotters are telling their drivers, third lane, that's where the drying is. That's where you got to be if you want to make lap time. Drivers, as that continues to dry, you will see the drivers start running in different places on the straightaway. You can clearly see the best groove. Very obvious where you want to be.
And instantly you start asking yourself, how much do you have to save tire? 32.9 for the leader of Byron, so only probably 3 seconds off race pace in the slicks. Do you have to start backing up to the guys behind you with a 1.3 second lead, start saving some tire?
Chase Elliott
trying to get through on AJ Armendinger. The view from John Hunter Nemechek's Dollar Tree Camry.
How do you pass right now? This is going to be so difficult with that third lane starting to dry. Chase Elliott tried to make a pass. It's going to cost him positions, I don't think. We'll see what he can do down here at 3 and 4. But he drives it in there deep. But right here, middle of the corner exit, that dry lane is going to be hard to be better than right now.
For the driver of the Napa number 9 Chevy, it was a brutal qualifying yesterday, 29th. And he's trying to work his way forward the best that he can, but at the moment he's 26, so he's made up 3 spots. Stevie, with this rate of drying, track drying, how far do you think these wet weather Goodyears can go before they become a little too much to handle?
Oh, I think in the dry line right now, you're already damaging the tire. I think at this point, you're going to have to start moving off from the preferred line to cool your tire and just not give up time. Now it's about a management situation. I mean, there's no doubt there's more grip in that lane right there. You see Austin Hill with a great pass. I think down the straightaway for sure. And you're just going to get to the point where you're going to have to get offline in the corner if you have enough room or space to give up to just try to get these tires to continue to live. As we just saw, William Byron ran a 32.8 a lap ago, which was the fastest lap, SVG 32.7. So it seems to me that William Byron's already in tire conservation mode. Nothing conservative back here. Denny Hamlin's creeping back in the picture, up to 28th from that early accident. Really just a stop, but he was involved in the accident, lost his track position.
It's the 7 of Daniel Suarez. He fights with Chase Elliott. It was an adventurous qualifying for Suarez yesterday. He was sideways multiple times and was very fortunate not to crash the car. Let's go back up front. Let's talk about the guys at the head of the field. Here's Marty.
William Byron just told his team a moment ago, Lee, after leading these 19 laps in the wet, it's starting to dry almost too much for the lane that we are in. And Rudy Fiegel came back on the radio, said, listen, I don't think NASCAR is going to throw a caution, so it's up to you. Keep the tires as cool as you can. Do the best you can. Behind him, Christopher Bell. And Jeff, remember what I said before the race started? Bell said, I love racing in the wet. I do not like it when it gets to this part. It starts drying out, and there's really only one lane. So what's the challenge when it starts drying like this and there's one lane that everybody's trying to run?
Well, I think Steve did a great job of explaining why you can't just run in that lane. You're going to eat these tires up. SVG tried to make a pass right there. He had caught Bell, but once he got to him, he couldn't do anything. You see Christopher Bell right there down the back straightaway, went to the middle of the racetrack. That is simply trying to get water on these tires and cool them down. But it's, if I'm 24 or William Byron, here's another run by SVG. Let's see what he can do down here in one.
Dives down the inside of the Ream Camry. Is the position able to stick? Gets him. Shane Van Gisbergen claws his way back to second where he started. Problems for John Hudden Nemechek.
Track still green, no yellow for the quick spin and acceleration. So as the 40 continues to lose spots.
Curious to see if there was contact right here. He was desperately trying to get by A.J. Allmendinger. He'd been stacked up behind him for quite a few laps.
Yeah, running 25th. It looks like there's some damage in the right side wheels. Let's see what happens to this 40 right here.
You're watching the Dollar Tree 301, presented by Toyota. And you're looking at the Trackhouse Chevy of Shane Van Gisbergen, who is the new race leader. I want to remind you with DraftKings, you can take your game anywhere. Let's look at today's driving factors. Steve, presented by DraftKings, what are they?
Well, Jeff, the conditions for the driver, you have to continue to adapt, whether it's the dry line or the wet line or where you need to run. And I would argue you have to be right when it matters. I know this feels like everything in the world is in front of you, but we are only 22 laps into this race, or excuse me, 29 laps into this race, 22 green. So you just have to be right when it matters, and that will be on the slicks later in the day when it is dry. So make positions when you can, but don't make mistakes.
Now, if I'm crew chief in SVG, I'm telling him to slow down. Like, we don't have to be half a second faster than the guy in second. We don't need to put ourselves in a position where we could be hurting tires.
DraftKings is live now, by the way, in all 50 states. New DraftKings customers can spend $5 and get $150 in total bonuses. Download the DraftKings app and use promo code CAR, C-A-R, when you sign up. All right, behind Shane Van Gisbergen is William Byron and Christopher Bell. Then you pick up the 54, the first car you see in this shot of Ty Gibbs. And then there's Josh Berry. Here's a move here. Gibbs slowed substantially, and Josh pounces. Nice move. Then Ryan Blaney, defending race winner, and Kyle Larson tagged onto the back of him. Let's talk about these alternate lines with Trevor Bayne. What do you see, Trev?
Yeah, Diff, I'm down here in 1 and 2 still watching these guys, and normally when we see line changes, you're talking about 2-3 car widths going from the bottom to the top, but right now it's these micro adjustments that drivers are making, especially Shane Van Gisbergen. He was one of the first ones to realize all 4 tires were in the dry, they were overheating, and he moved down a half lane. He got those left sides in the wet part of the racetrack, kind of conserved those tires for a little while. Then for the next 10 laps, he moved up and put his right sides above the dry line and cooled them down, and he's alternating back and forth, whereas some of these drivers are just running right through that dry every time.
Oh, Gibbs is struggling. He is holding the pack up, and it's, wow, it's only really a one-groove racetrack, so if you're going to make a pass, it's going to be an aggressive move.
They are pouncing on the 54. Blaney, Kyle Larson, check this out. Little contact, just a little brush there. And the door was wide open for Ryan Blaney as well.
Yeah, certainly contact. Gibbs is like, hey, man, awfully early for that. But I think you'll see him drive away from Gibbs. He's struggling right now.
Meanwhile, up front, SVG has opened up a 5+ second lead over William Byron. He is relishing this opportunity to be in these conditions.
And just a reminder of how rules work on the ovals. If you're thinking your driver should pit, go to slicks and run the dry line, that opportunity does not exist until NASCAR determines we are then dry. The entire field will switch. So unlike a road course, the teams do not have the opportunity. Now you could come to pit road and put another set of wets on if you feel like you've blistered your tires, but you do not have the strategy opportunity to switch from wets to dries on your own.
BuildSubmarines.com view for Brad Keselowski. Brad currently runs 19th. But let's go a little further forward in the field. The 20th, Christopher Bell, is in 4th. What you got, Marty?
Well, Lee, Christopher Bell would love to make that change that Steve talked about. He would love for NASCAR to say, hey, let's go to slicks. Bell saying it was extremely loose on entry. And then he said just a moment ago, I feel like I have a vibration already, worried about the right front tire. In fact, Adam Stevens told him just a second ago, listen, just slow down. Find wet. That's what you have to do right now. Find wet to conserve those tires, Dave.
Larson in the blue and white, number 5 right behind him. Started 9th. He's up to 5th. And crew chief Cliff Daniels radioed his driver, I like your rhythm. I like what you're doing. Keep doing that. He did have one question. The driver did right as they got restarted here. He said the guys riding the high line and making pace up there. What gear are they in? So, Jeff, I ask you, with this car, I believe it has 5 gears. So well, it probably has more than that if you want, but what gear do they run low line versus high line, and is it different than in the dry drive?
Well, Dave, it's going to change. As this track continues to change, you're going to see, you know, when it goes to dry, you'll see a completely different thought process. Some drivers in the wet, Steve, they may want a high gear so they don't spin the rear tires. Some drivers may want a low gear because the car, they think it drives better. It's really a driver preference.
In the end, when you look at the results, you know, since the start of the race, Cindric plus 15, Zilich 12, Suarez 12, Austin Hill 11, Hocevar 10. The opposite Reddick back 31 with the spin. Hamlin back 18 from the damage. Gregson, Busher, and McDowell also lost double digits.
Let's go to the 24 for some radio. Here it is.
We're going to throw a caution at lap 40. 5 more laps, just maintaining your gap to the 21. We'll all get dry.
So there you go. NASCAR, as I had mentioned, the tire decision has to be made by NASCAR. NASCAR has now informed the teams. At lap 40, the caution will come out. The change of track condition will go from wet to dries. Everybody will have to go to dries. Everybody will also have the opportunity to make changes to car, chassis changes or whatever else you need, and the race will restart again. As now we see, I don't know if Chastain had a little damage right there or just lost momentum. I don't see any damage on the right side.
I thought I saw some smoke or something.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
there it is again.
Look at the smoke billowing out of the right front of this one car.
This is like a mechanical issue, Steve.
Yeah, mechanical issue or some tire. I don't know what's wrong. It doesn't do it on the straightaway. Let's see in the corner if it does it again.
He was running 14.
Oh, yeah.
He's dropped to
huge
17.
smoke out of the one.
So he'll be pleased to see this competition caution for everybody to switch to dries.
He was running 14th before he had his issue. He's fallen back to 17th right now. To add in just one more wrinkle, the pit stops are non-competitive, which means everybody just gets kind of a reset. 4 tires, adjustments, restart where you come in. This one will have an opportunity to look under the hood or look at least under the right front wheel and see what's going on.
And Jeff, to your point before about telling Van Gisbergen to slow down, he's going to be like, man, I had a 7-second lead. And it's all going to evaporate when everybody gets called to pit road for the switch.
Probably blow the racetrack off as well. You want to talk about some worn out groove tires. You can see where all the rubber has accumulated.
Is the race leader in that Superfile Chevy for Trackhouse Racing, Shane Van Gisbergen.
Guys are racing really hard to stay on a lead lap. There's the caution.
So it's time to make a switch after starting this race on the wets. Those Goodyear slicks will be applied next.
That in and of itself is an interesting call because nobody's run the bottom of the racetrack. So
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, where do you go now?
Exactly.
Where do you go now when now you have slicks on?
So we're over halfway through the first stage here of this Dollar Tree 301.
Steve mentioned non-competitive pit stops. They'll come down. Everybody will leave together. You'll maintain your spot. Part of the reason for that too is pit road. You know, it's still a little bit damp. They're going to leave on dry tires. You don't really want cars on pit road that's damp on dry tires. A little bit of a safety procedure.
And a condition change. At the ovals, anytime you go dry to wet or wet to dry, you're allowed a whole list of changes, so you don't have to try to fit those into a pit stop.
Let's check in with Trevor Bain.
Well, Diff, I can tell you those rain tires are chewed up. You wouldn't believe the amount of marbles out here on the racetrack. On the top, on the bottom, I've never seen it so dirty. But the other thing is how different these lanes are. There's little dry patches near the seams. Some of them are wet. So as these drivers, Steve, Jeff, you all mentioned going to slicks. Where do you go? I think they're going to have to try to search for little patches of dry. It may not be a whole lane. We saw in 2024, Larson entered on the top, went to the bottom. We may have to see some creative lines here. 1 for the marbles, 2 for those dry patches.
Great to have Trevor back in the Toyota XSE pace car like he was for us as doing that special analyst role in Iowa, and that's exactly what Trevor was referring to, those marbles from the Goodyear wet weather tires, which will be being removed from the cars here shortly.
I'm going to put this line right here.
Go on.
And the reason I say that is I believe this is dry. The question is, I think all this right still has some moisture in it. So, you know, it will improve quickly, but you think dry on wet weather is slippery. Wait till you try a wet track on dry tires, Jeff.
Marty, see Ross Chastain on pit road.
They've been trying to diagnose the issue with Ross Chastain. They think they had some debris that got stuck in the grill and maybe got sucked into the airbox, Steve. That's the first thing that they're going to check. But, yeah, certainly something mechanical going on with the one who had a pretty quick start to the race, but obviously lost those spots when they started having that issue.
Yeah, at this point, they're just going to want to try to get it repaired. We saw that debris on the racetrack. If that gets, I don't know if where they're looking, somewhere on the right side of the engine. I don't know if it's in the header, but it was funny because it only really did it in the corner. So like if, if tire rubber builds up on the header, you would imagine it would do it all the way around the racetrack.
So he had to come in, even though the pits were closed. The pits are going to open up right now for this non-competitive pit stop for the change from wets to dries. After 42 laps of this Dollar Tree 301 presented by Toyota. Here they come. SVG leads them down pit road after leading 17 laps, and Kim Kuhn standing by. Kimmy, they're coming your way.
Yeah, top left of your screen, SVG happy with the race car, just said needs a little bit of help on right rear on the entry of the corner, otherwise good. He did say it's going to be a little bit sketchy on slicks. He said the corners are still pretty wet. The team reminding him just be smart, don't speed. Let's take our time here as they adjust back for slick tires, Marty.
Christopher Bell said, man, I'm not sure how much longer I could have hung on to that one because they had that vibration, remember, with the 20 car. Adam Stevens did ask him, hey, can you forecast how far we need to go for slick tires adjustments? He said, I'll do my best. William Byron said, yeah, the right front just got way too gone on that run for us, and they couldn't really conserve it. So afraid to make big changes because they were pretty happy with the 24 car, Dave.
Third place Josh Berry said the car is just a little tight going back to throttle, so crew chief Miles Stanley said, should we tighten you up? No idea from the driver. So he said, let's do our normal offsets and you go hunt the dry patches, just like Trevor Bayne just talked about. Go find the dry spots. We'll adjust to that. By the way, you saw they did not take a tear off. They're kind of limited on how many they have. And with the wet track still in places, there's going to be some spray there. They don't want to use those all up too early.
Most leisurely pit stop you'll ever see in NASCAR. The non-competitive one. It's been quite the interesting start here in New Hampshire. They're on dry tires. We'll go racing when we come back. A new era of American shipbuilding is here. At buildsubmarines.com, explore training programs and thousands of open roles building the U.S. Navy's submarines. Visit buildsubmarines.com, where shipbuilding careers begin. And they have been a tremendous partner of RFK, and that's why you see it on one of the RFK co-owners' cars. Here's Brad Keselowski, a two-time winner here in Loudon, pushing as hard as he can from a driver and an owner perspective, and would dearly love Ryan Priest to get into the chase. It's a steep and difficult climb, but it is mathematically possible to have 2 RFK cars in the chase. As we check in with Kim Kuhn. Kim?
Yeah, let's meet the rear tire changer for the 22 of Joey Logano, Jake Seminara. Jake grew up playing stick and ball sports, but was introduced to NASCAR by his father when he took Jake to his first race in 1999 at Pocono. Jake watched the live pit stops, told himself, I can do that. Then he made it his goal. So after finishing high school, he moved to North Carolina in 2004. People thought he was crazy, but he learned fabrication and mechanics while also going to pit crew school. Now fast forward to today, he's been in the sport for over 20 years, which he actually views as a strength. Despite the younger influx of pit crew athletes we've seen, he thinks that just the adaptability he has had to show, all the different choreography and equipment on pit road that's evolved. The rules have changed so many times during his tenure, but the crew members who have been on pit road for all of those iterations, again, he thinks are the quickest at adapting, and that adaptability has helped him earn 3 NASCAR Cup Series titles as a crew member, 1 with Kyle Busch, 2 with Joey Logano, and he's hoping for a 4th here this year.
Thanks for that, Kim, and good on you, Jake. And lots of smiles lately after their driver winning 2 of the last 4 races on the season. Here is Joey Logano, and let's listen to what Joey thinks about restarts. Here it is.
When I started, it's like, you know, maybe one car would make a 3-wide move on a restart. It was like, oh my God, right? Now they'll be 3x3x3 at times, right? And 4-wide to the moment where it's kind of crazy, but 3-wide is pretty normal at this point. So it's just that intensity has ratcheted up over the years. A lot of it's due to this car too, right? In the past, if you just touched somebody, you'd knock your fender in, you would cut a tire down. You know, everyone was more conservative because you couldn't touch each other. Now we have a car that's pretty tough, and that in return is made drivers more aggressive.
And it's worthwhile noting that at this race, that softer bumper assembly is no longer here. We're back to the regular, right?
Yeah, back to a standard what we see all the other racetracks, which is probably good as much as they stack them on the restart. I will tell you, as Joey talks about the restarts, we ride on board with the Hunt Brothers Pizza. Jeff, I laugh because you and I have sat next to each other for 12 years up here, and I've watched the iteration every single year, and you are just shocked by what you see from when you and I competed, you on the racetrack, me on pit road, to what these drivers are asked to do now on these restarts.
Yeah, it's just gotten more and more aggressive, and you think about guys like Mark Martin and how respectful he was. As aggressive he was still respectful. That's out the window. I mean, you just have to get every spot when you can get it, and you know, it's aggravating as a driver, but it's also opportunity. Like, you have to, if that's how it's going to be, then you have to adapt to it, and you have to be willing to play the game. And restarts matter. You have to, when the race is over, you have to have gained more spots than you've lost.
Ross Chastain has had a couple of good weekends the last 2 weeks, and he was not giving up on his chances, Marty, of making the chase, but it's been problematic today. What's the latest?
Yeah, this might do it here, Lee. It's a drivetrain issue for the one. They are out for the race. You mentioned their hopes to kind of make the chase. They were 63 out of the chase standings in 18th, but they will finish last here at New Hampshire today. One more race left in the regular season. Likely not going to be a chase berth for Ross Chastain here in 2026.
That's a disappointing feeling when you're in the garage during a race. It's hard to explain, right? You just know so much work that went into what you were doing, and you're out of it.
Joey talked about the aggressiveness on restarts. Well, I find this restart, you can clearly see it, Trevor.
Yeah, Jeff, if I was behind the wheel instead of the passenger seat, I think I'd be looking to run the actual race line that they practiced in 1 and 2. It's pretty dry through there. I think from the top lane, you can kind of squeeze down into that. 3 and 4 has a couple little patches, but not dry yet. You may still see some drivers move up to that 4th lane to find some dry racetrack down there as they get ready to go green.
This is going to be fascinating, and let's keep in mind when they come to the line, there'll be just 21 laps left in this opening stage.
What I find is fascinating is if we didn't have rain tires, there's no chance we would start a slick race on this track. Like, there's no way, Jeff. You drivers would be losing your mind that this track's not ready, but because the race is underway, it's just these adverse conditions are almost accepted.
This is more stressful to me as a driver than the start of the race was on wets.
Echo Park restart zone, they are there. Shane Van Gisbergen leads the field back to green. He's getting pushed along from William Byron. Josh Berry's on the inside for the Wood Brothers in the 21. Shane Van Gisbergen clearly out in front. And in this exploration mode, the first flying lap with slick tires.
Joe Logano went to the bottom, and the gamble did not pay off. Many spots lost by the 22.
Larson dives into third. That yellow and blue car on the low line, that's Chase Briscoe. Here comes Ty Gibbs in the middle. The Monster Energy Camry. He's driving forcefully and gaining back positions lost earlier before that competition caution.
Up on the outside, he's got to get going. He tried to fill the spot. He did it.
There's that blue and white number 60. The Mohawk Ford of Ryan Preece racing here at home, and Preece is up to 7th.
Think about what these stage points could do to SVG's chase chances. 50 points above the cut line on the way in. If he can gain 10 more here, that will lessen the stress.
That crash.
That's Ricky Stenhouse. He's in the wall. Did you see before that Preece step out? He was catching it as well. These cars are getting squirrely.
Pretty decent damage to the left rear of this 47.
All right, just keep driving it here. We'll get caught up. Left rear's pretty damaged.
Running 21st before we got turned around. I had mentioned Logano as well. 7 spots lost on the restart. Bottom right of your screen, you're going to see Austin Dillon at the bottom, Denny Hamlin behind. Just loose, it looks like. Doesn't look like contact, just gets loose. I'm assuming there's probably some moisture or just misjudged the grip.
Here's the view, the Brez tree on board for Austin Dillon.
Left side tires on the seam.
Trevor told us the seams were damp. You had to be very careful. And Ricky back there racing hard with the 3, got his left sides on the seam.
I don't 100% know that's what it was, but clearly that car came around way before he was anticipating.
Now, we'll see what NASCAR says. I assume they'll have to open pit road. If they don't make them competitive stops, it's very simple. If you come down pit road, you restart the race kind of in the order you pitted, decide about how many tires you change. If you change 2, you start in front of 4. Everyone who changes 4 tires, I don't know why you would change tires again, but that would be how it would operate. Pit road's looking better, though. I think by the end of the stage, we should see some full-speed pit stops.
I wonder if they could actually not even open pit road, just go back green. You know, in these kind of conditions, Steve.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I don't think any real takers are coming anyway.
Yeah.
Paul Wolf on screen, crew chief for Joey Logano. Feeling pretty good about life at the moment, the way that this 22 team has performed.
17 kind of in the middle there. Ty Dillon to his left, the 34 of Gillen to his right.
Oh, whoa. You talked about Logano trying that bottom lane, just no grip.
Pretty hard shot, too.
Yeah.
17 on the right sides.
We heard about pre-race. So we heard pre-race about the 17, wanted to just have a clean race here, try to learn something.
Under this caution, still in stage 1. Unfortunately, due to Hayek Motorsports, Ricky Stenhouse spinning and tagging the wall. This is how it looked. Great shot high above New Hampshire. Sorry. As we're getting ready to restart this Dollar Tree 301 presented by Toyota.
You know, the choose has become just normal everyday racing, but with this very interesting track condition, Bell running 5th, drove all the way up to inside row 2. That's more movement than we normally see at the front. We'll see if the gamble pays off by taking the inside.
That's a great shot there of the New Hampshire Motor Speedway track drying significantly. Let's get ready to get this started and see if we can finish off this opening stage. That's seen a little bit of everything. Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone waiting for Shane Van Gisbergen and William Byron. Let's go. Byron's being pushed by Bell. Larson right behind SVG on that higher line. Here comes Hocevar. Dives to the inside of Ty Gibbs and gets 2 positions. He gets Gibbs and the 21 of Josh Berry. Meanwhile, the Hendrick teammates are fighting it out. Larson and Byron door to door behind SVG. This is good stuff on this restart lap. Van Gisbergen, Larson, Byron, Bell, Hocevar, then Gibbs. Berry pops out. Defending race winner Ryan Blaney tucked in behind in that bright yellow and blue Ford Mustang for Team Penske.
You can start to see that lighter line in the middle of the racetrack drying up. That's where Hocevar in the 77 attempted to land. We'll see what Gibbs decides to do. Blaney, both of those drivers trying to run through that drier section.
It's starting to work down there for sure. Blaney in the middle of the corner worked pretty well. Corner exit, it did not.
Keep an eye out for the 88 of Connor Zilich as well. Zilich, there he is right there, bottom of your screen. He's tucked in three wide. With Van Gisbergen out near the wall, and he's going backwards. He's lost 5 positions. Larson leads. SVG's got his hands full. His younger teammate has caught him on the inside there.
What a run by Connor Zilich. 13 positions since the start of the race. Just a reminder, we've yet to see it enacted, but the new stage break procedure, if we have a yellow within the last 10 laps of the stage, it will end the stage. If there was any a day, I guess today could be the one with the type of racing we've seen.
Here come the young guys. Zilich, Gibbs, Hocevar. They're all in the mix to grab valuable stage points. And Zilich rounds up his teammate SVG, exiting turn 4. 11 laps to go in this stage.
SVG went to the top, trying to get to that lane that he thinks may be a little bit better. Josh Berry dove to the bottom on the straight. He's going to clear him. The drying conditions are not working well for SVG at the moment.
They are not. And the man who has just the most extraordinary story to tell from a week ago, Kyle Larson, finally worked his way back up into the top 10 with a 6th place finish, jumped on the jet, headed to the Knoxville Nationals with a weather delay and won, leads this race. Let's take a look at which drivers are on the move, brought to you by Busch Light. We mentioned some of the young guys like Carson Hocevar up 19 positions. Austin Dillon up 15. We mentioned Zilich up 13. Cindric has had a good opening stage as well.
And right behind you see Blaney and SVG side by side. Ryan Preece in that 60. Seeing that 97 will be some motivation. Remember, those two are in a battle for that chase position. Points will be paid here in just 9 more laps.
Blaney's trying to size up and execute a move on Van Gisbergen as he then looks at his teammate ahead in Connor Zilich. Now, Van Gisbergen's got a 50-point buffer at the moment over Ryan Preece, to Steve's point, but he can't afford to lose out on stage points. Got to stay at least in the top 10 to get something, considering he's led 30 laps today.
And scoring more than Preece, who is that 50-point gap too. That's really going to help.
Look at this, the Trackhouse teammates side by side blocking Ryan Blaney. Van Gisbergen looks for an inside passage there. Does he find it on that lower line?
Just enough dry down there to roll the middle. Can he make the corner exit work? Trying to make this pass. Will it actually cost him a position?
That's a spotter challenge on the Superfile Chevrolets.
Sure
very different, you know, slightly different paint scheme, but similar. Look at Blaney. Gassing it up around 3 wide. I think he'll get them both.
Contact.
What a move. Contact by Blaney into the wall. Ricocheted into Zilich. Zilich ricocheted into Shane Van Gisbergen. And here comes Ryan Preece. Look at the 60. Preece racing at home in the northeast.
SVG made a pass and also got passed. They're also racing Cindric, you know, for that point position. He's in 13th.
Zepp on board for Chase Briscoe. He's going to get that inside run on Zilich down into turn 3. 5 laps to go. Car 5 leads the way. Larson over Bell over Hocevar. Been a pretty enjoyable stage, fellas. A little bit of everything.
Been a lot happening for sure.
This is the battle for 5th between Ty Gibbs, Josh Berry.
I'll add in, I don't think the confusion or excitement is going to go away because at the end of the stage, I'm not sure it's an obvious decision to come to pit road. I think a lot of the leaders are going to have to maybe stay on the racetrack and just bear with it.
Great shot right here. You can see where the track is drying is much drier than it was when we started this run on this set of tires. Let's see what it looks like in 3 and 4. Berry trying to make this pass. It's definitely a clear groove right there. Now the 54 is down in it. Track's really close, Steve, to being dry all the way around.
Yeah, I agree. Now I think it's about car handling, less about car positioning because of the dry or the wet. How did your car work?
How about the 12? Behind this car we ride with now, the monster on board for Ty Gibbs, Ryan Blaney is flying. And that is a move that may have, just may, have some implications as far as the chase is concerned. You're looking at the 17th place car in the chase standings past the 16th place car. Preece over Shane Van Gisbergen.
You mentioned Blaney. Everybody talked that he was the best car in practice. I think a lot of that was lost at the beginning of this race with the weather and all the other challenges. Now that we're settled into a more standardized New Hampshire race, this is the car I have my eye on. I thought the 5 looked good, the 20, really all the cars up at the top 5 or 6 looked decent in practice, but the 12 had a little something more than everyone else. But that was yesterday. We'll see if it carries over to today.
1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank in stage 1.
We saw Ryan Preece make that move to get in 8th place. I talked to Ryan Preece this morning. He was very simple. I said, what kind of car you got? He said, it's going to be good, Jeff. That's all he said.
Oh, Blaney's thinking 1 spot here coming to the line off the rear bumper of the 54.
Race leader Kyle Larson comes off turn 4. He's never won a stage here. He does right now, and that's his 5th stage win of this season, and keeps this positivity going that has been present this past week. Ryan Blaney gets by Ty Gibbs. Christopher Bell grabs 2nd. Hocevar grabs 8 points. Byron over Berry. USA Sports coverage of NASCAR is brought to you by Credit One Bank for what's ahead. Liberty Mutual Insurance, only pay for what you need. Consumer Cellular, call or visit to switch today. And by Toyota, let's go places. Speaking of Toyota, let's go to the Toyota XSE pace car. And Trevor Bayne, what you got, Trev?
Yes, sir. The teams have weathered the storm, and I've enjoyed my front row seat here watching this track change. Right now, really the only moisture I see is right off the seams, where those are so deep, the moisture is still seeping out of those right now. So you're going to want to keep your right sides off those seams as you go through the corner. The other thing I'm seeing in this car here, Diff, is that on exit of the corner on the bottom of the racetrack, there's quite a bit of moisture down there. And I know with this higher horsepower package, less downforce, you see a lot of drivers that want to dime in the corner, square off the exit, drive off low to keep that forward drive on the long run. So I'll be interested to see here on this long run if they can finally use that line, if the bottom will dry out. Turn 4 has still got a ways to go. I've had a blast in here, but if I stay in much longer, I'm going to need a ride in a cup car next week because I'm having too much fun.
Well, speaking of that, because you have that unique perspective, how do you think you would have gone behind the wheel? Would have you liked to have been out there in those conditions?
Hey, man, I mean, we're all pretty arrogant as race car drivers, so I feel like I could have been leading that thing. I don't know.
Thanks for the contribution again, Trevor. It's really good to have you in the pace car as our special analyst. Daytona 500 winner, Trevor Bayne.
There'll be a split decision here, I think, at the front of the field, or I believe there will be. Maybe everybody will come to pit road, softer left side tires, maybe 2 tires. Well, Priest stays out, so a few will stay on the racetrack. Marty.
Christopher Bell said the car definitely loses drive. The longer we run, they finish second after that chaotic stage 1. They asked him, hey, there might be a little bit of split strategy here. What do you want to do? Bell said, let's keep it out front. He takes his right front tire changer with him, leaving the stall. And then a traffic jam with the 16 trying to get in the stall as well. Dave?
Carson Hocevar charged from 9th to 3rd, and they took 4 tires for his car. You saw Kyle Larson, just a 2-tire stop for the 5.
There was a little hold up on the 77, and that was an awkward incident with the 20 of Christopher Bell, and an incident for the 24 of William Byron.
Right side tires only for the 20. It's very close all the time. Oh, Bell drag drops. He leaves. It's a timing situation. The tire changer had to go back in, gets carried out by the car.
Great to have you with us today for this Dollar Tree 301 presented by Toyota at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Seeing a couple of Dollar Tree Toyota drivers there. Christopher Bell, and that awkward time on pit road, but it wasn't just him, also William Byron.
Yeah, you cannot get an adjustment on right side tires. If you drop the jack, you either are going to leave or have to wait for an adjustment. The driver leaves off the jack, but the myriad of issues up and down pit road, it wasn't just the 24. We also saw the 20, same thing. Driver, it's kind of that double clutch. You saw the tire changes start to get up, the jack comes down. That's a timing situation. I'm sure Christopher Bell feels awful. He drugged tire changer Blake Houston right there out of the stall, Marty. Scary, scary time for the 20 car.
Yeah, Christopher did check on the radio immediately. He said, is Blake okay? And he is fine. I just asked Blake, you feeling okay? He said, yep, I'm all good. In fact, the paramedics came just a moment ago to see if he needed attention. He waved them off and said, nope, I'm all good. They've since stopped one time. They're going to stop here for a second time. They took on left side tires, and Blake Houston's going to come over here and make this third stop here for the 20 bunch just to make sure that everything is all good with that right front. And they loosened him up a bunch, Steve, they said, because he's going to be in traffic. But great to report Blake Houston okay.
Well, the main thing is Blake Houston is okay, first and foremost. Very costly stops for both the 24 and the 20. 24 was leading the race. 20 was running fourth. They're both in the back of the pack now.
Talking about two of the top 4 ranked crews on pit road with those uncharacteristic errors.
6 cars staying out, the 17. He was in 30th, the 41 back in 28. So, you know, the 9 car, 23rd, 35, and 26th.
You also don't see the 77. Hocevar stalled his car. He'll restart back in 18th, finish 3rd in the stage.
Racing at home in New England. This is a really special weekend for the driver of the 60. Out of the Echo Park Automotive restart zone, Ryan Preece leads this field back to green. Guy who used to come here with his father and grandfather as a kid leads this race.
One reason why we see cars stay on the racetrack is everybody will have to pit at one point during this stage. We'll see when that happens. They can run about 90 or 95 laps on fuel, 107 to go in the stage.
Zane Smith, then Chris Buescher. Here comes the 5 of Kyle Larson. Down low, inside, pushing through. Josh Berry's following his lead. Chase Elliott's there. Bubba Wallace. Riley Herbst in the monster machine there. You see the 35.
Contact, was it the 21, the 5? Did they make contact into 3? Was really close.
Keep an eye on Austin Cindric as well. Been a really productive day after a frustrating qualifying. Let's go back and check this out.
Josh Berry drives in the corner really deep. Yeah, it was a little bit of contact.
And they go at it again. Same spot, down into turn 3, but the Wood Brothers Ford has the upper hand for now. Clearly ahead of Kyle Larson.
You mentioned Preece leading. Connecticut guy. He's had a busy week. Ran 4th in the Governor's Cup up at Thunder Road in Barrie, Vermont, a track I'm very familiar with. A great short track if you live in the area. I encourage it.
I was going to say, I bet you've been to a few.
I have between, I don't know, 5 and 100 different races at Thunder Road, and then ran 3rd in the Mighty Mods here yesterday. So he's having a pretty good week. He's looking to continue to improve, maybe 2nd, maybe 1st. What a story it would be.
That pass by Josh Berry on Kyle Larson, that puts him the first car on 4 tires.
There's Hocevar up high in that Moto Casino 77. Trying to rally and recover from that stall on pit road. He's got Connor Zilich on his inside, Brad Keselowski, Austin Hill behind.
Hocevar up 5 spots already on this restart. Josh Berry getting by. 17 Buescher.
Hocevar backwards down the front stretch. Looked like there was contact with Zilich.
Just when it was going.
Joey Logano, Austin Dillon.
So well, it's gone so wrong.
And that's kind of what happens. You know, you you do everything right, you get your track position, and then a little bit of a hiccup gets you back in traffic. I had mentioned 77. Oh yeah, broken tolling.
I think they come to you now.
Stalled on his pit stop is kind of how he lost his track position. Some broken steering in the front, or something in the front is broken. Let's see what happens, Jeff.
Seen the 77 be real aggressive, running very high, especially on restarts. Right here is Zillage. The 77 made contact. Not sure if there was contact with the 6 car also.
It's hard from that angle to see who changed lanes. You almost have to look up the straightaway to see who's not keeping straight.
There's a touch there, yep.
It's like there was a little bit of a bang, and then the 77 swerved. I don't know, on purpose, reaction to the contact, or just got a little bit of a tank slap going. Here we go. Let's see what this looks like on board.
Riding along with Brad.
Two outside, in his middle.
I don't think any contact from the 6.
No, I agree.
It was really odd looking because Hocevar, there was a little bit of contact early.
Here we go.
88 right there. Right now Hocevar's got it going straight, and then it just hangs a left.
It hangs a left, or he hung a left, but either way, the result is a wreck 77.
And this is exactly what there's a view of the Hunt Brothers Pizza on board of Joey Logano, who got caught up in it as well. Austin Dillon right behind him. Here's the view, the Brez tree on board from Dillon. There's Joey. Boom.
So someone got the 3, who then got the 22. Wreck back for front and front to back.
Okay, this is Connor Zillage. Have a listen.
This is 3 races in a row for that 77 car.
Nightmare situation, Jeff. He has gone 31st in Iowa, 37th last week in Richmond.
He's back on track here, Steve.
Wow, that was funny. It looked like something was broken, but it must have just been flat tires that had weight off the front tires. I don't know.
Let's have a listen to some radio from Connor Zillage, his perspective.
He did that to himself. He always does. How's your car? Good.
If you didn't catch that, Zillage said he did that, meaning Hocevar, he did that to himself. Jeff, what's your take?
Well, certainly the 77 was, there was a little bit of contact, and it was going straight, and then it just turned left, and it's hard for me to imagine that a driver would turn left down the straightaway on somebody, but maybe that's what happened.
All right, some choosing to dive for pit road. And this is the incident that's brought us under caution. Connor Zillage, Carson Hocevar. A quick reminder to stay with us after the conclusion of our race coverage and post-race show for episode 3 of NASCAR Americana. I know many of you have enjoyed the last 2 weekends. It's presented by Busch Light, and it goes from the roots on southern back roads to the rise as a national institution. This docuseries explores the people, the traditions that shape stock car racing, the sport of NASCAR that we love so much. You get special insight from 2311 guys too, of 5-time winner this year, Daytona 500 winner Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace, as we take you back for another replay, Jeff, of the Hocevar incident.
Yeah, so contact right here. Watch the right front tire on Hocevar's car. Clearly input to the wheel, and then watch from this angle. Going down the straightaway, contact right here. Car gets straight, and then boom, right there, turns to the left.
So the 77 runs a lap down in 32nd position. Let's get this going again. We've got a big chunk of stage 2 to go. Ryan Preece leads the field. Fellow Ford driver right behind him in Josh Berry. Fellow Ford driver in Zane Smith on his outside right behind now as they roar down the backstretch here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Josh Berry in at 21. Bubba Wallace in at 23. Both on 4 tires.
Look at this, 3 wide into turn 1. Keselowski, Gibbs, and Elliott on the outside. Austin Hill tucked in there as well. Dollar Tree view for the 43 of Eric Jones. Eric sits in 15th at the moment. Two guys on different strategies here. Josh Berry came in on lap 74. Ryan Preece did not come in. He's been out there. He last pitted on lap 43.
Yeah, and he had a little bit of cushion before that last yellow. He didn't want to see the restart. Now he's lost that track position and has some older tires. It's going to be very, very difficult to continue to hold these cars off. Blaney kind of cannonballs into the left side of Bubba Wallace. 4 wide back here.
Wow.
Sorted out to 3 wide. Jones, Zillage, Hamlin. Hamlin still trying to recover from being in the first lap incident with Reddick. Not really in it. He had to just stop to avoid it. No damage, but lost his track position.
These two guys are on the same strategy, Jeff. They came in on lap 74, 2 tire change. Bubba Wallace, Ryan Blaney.
Look at Ryan, how fast he rolls the center of the corner.
The good friends racing hard here at Loudon. That's for 3rd place.
It's a really difficult pass to make. Now the track is dry. It's very hard to carry enough momentum on corner exit, especially if turn 2. It gets really tight over there. It's hard to get your car to rotate. Right here in the middle, you can see the advantage Ryan Blaney has, but Bubba Wallace has a really good job of leaving the corners with good speed. Oh, he's going to let him go. Bubba Wallace right there, it just feels like Blaney's faster.
Blaney said yesterday he's a big believer in momentum, and he feels there was a little gesture there, hand gesture to say thanks to Bubba for making life easy on him. He said he's a big believer in momentum, and this 12 team has been working hard to keep that momentum and also to close the gap on what has been the dominant Toyotas this year.
Well, this is the racetrack that they want to be at, right? We saw the speed. Penske last week. Here they come to New Hampshire. Josh Berry leading this race, Penske affiliation. Ryan Blaney's so good here. I'm impressed with Preece too.
Yeah.
Older tires. He's hanging in there pretty well.
And he likes that it's spreading out, right? Because now he might lose a spot to Blaney, but he could probably get back in line and run 5 or 6 more laps until the next guy's in line.
I'm curious to see, now that Blaney is clear, what kind of lap time he can make compared to Josh Berry. Josh Berry has an average finish at this racetrack of 2.5.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Best track on the schedule for him. What's the gap between Berry and Blaney? 1.5 seconds. There it is right there. Think about how many laps that Ryan Preece has turned this week with the modifieds, the late models, and here in his Cup car. He's done a lot of driving, but he's had home. He's so happy to be here.
Well, if you talk to Larson or some of these other drivers, Kyle will be very adamant that nothing replaces time in the car, it doesn't matter what car. Dirt, go-karts, little karts, full-size cars, he just believes that it kind of exercises the same sort of like eye-hand coordination, car feel, reps.
Are we setting up, and it's still very early in this race, but are we setting up for a historical repeat between Josh Berry and Ryan Blaney? Let's take you back to last year. It was a thriller between these two Ford drivers, one for the Wood brothers, one for Team Penske. Josh threw everything he had at Ryan Blaney, but it was Blaney who hung on to win and break the JGR stranglehold. Joe Gibbs Racing had won 3 in a row until then. Josh was desperately disappointed. That would have been his second win on the season and second career win, but this man here, Jeff, was just too strong.
Yeah, he was. Josh made one big lunge at him and just got real loose on corner entry and couldn't make it stick. That lap, Blaney was a little bit quicker, Dave, than Berry was.
And Jeff, we knew that between last year's run, which we just showed, and the short track career of Josh Berry, that he was going to be a threat again today. So when I talked to his crew chief, Miles Stanley, I said, yeah, but what about if we start in the wet, which we did? He goes, oh, Josh is excited. After they ran some rain laps at Bowman Gray Stadium, he said he's very comfortable racing in the wet. And look what he did. Kept that car that qualified second out of trouble and finished 6th in the first stage to gain stage points as well. So good day for Josh Berry going here, leading the race.
And rather than just hearing more words from us about what it's been a good recent run from Josh Berry, the numbers don't lie. 7th at Indy, 4th in Iowa, 8th last weekend in Richmond. He's on a roll.
Consistency. Bubba Wallace slowly working to the left side of Ryan Preece. Preece is going to make this pass very difficult.
Kim, what you got on Ryan Preece?
Yeah, Ryan Preece doing a really good job holding on with older tires. Remember, he did not come at the end of stage 1. Crew chief Derek Finley electing to keep him out if they were able to get the front row. They did. He led 17 laps on his home track. They came on about lap 90 and said 25 more laps until we pit. They will come down around lap 115. Marty, they've done a great job of giving him 5-lap increments so he knows what he has to work with to hold on until they can get him on pit road and fresh tires.
Tim, it was a fun battle to watch Ryan Preece and Bubba Wallace battle for that 3rd position. Finally, Bubba Wallace able to get that spot. After qualifying yesterday when the 23 team qualified 23rd, Bubba Wallace was very upset. And his frustration came from the fact that we put so much effort into this race and it just feels like it's not paying off. Well, it may not have paid off on Saturday, but it's paying off on Sunday. That effort certainly worth it. On pace and merit, Bubba Wallace has driven from 23rd up to 3rd here. And Charles Denick told me a moment ago, we also had a little bit of luck. I asked him, what was that? He said, we didn't wreck in the wet tires. So 3-wide battle on the racetrack there with Logano trying to make a comeback in the 77 as well.
Hocevar in the middle.
Hocevar and Logano racing for the free pass, a little contact. I'm shocked at the 77. It looked to me like it had absolute steering damage. That's what I said after the wreck. It just must have been the flat tires, the way the weight of the car was not working, because the front tires were pointed right coming down pit road, but it wanted to go straight. But here he is at full speed.
Still 3 wide, just a change of positions. They get by Eric Jones, and this fight to get back on the lead lap between Hocevar and Logano continues. What was once a 1.5-second lead for Josh Berry in the 21 Wood Brothers Ford has evaporated to 0.3 of a second. Ryan Blaney is charging. That day-glow yellow Menards Ford is the car to beat right now because he has got the pace. He's the defending race winner. How long can Josh Berry keep him at bay for is the question.
What's amazing is how much faster they are than the rest of the field. I mean, they have driven away from everyone.
Josh was asked recently, why are you so good at this track, Steve? And he said, kind of reminds me of the tracks that I grew up racing on. And just certain tracks, and Jeff, you can speak to this as well, like certain tracks speak to you better than others, right? They just feel different.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. You understand it. You know what it needs to go fast at. You know where you have to make compromises. Fast race cars help that, Steve?
Fast race cars always help. Some good recoveries in the field as well, as you see crew chief for Josh Berry on the bottom right of the screen, looking at Miles Stanley. Some other cars slowly recovering. Briscoe, who had a slow stop, he's up 10 positions since the restart, all the way up to 11th. Byron is up 11 positions, all the way up to 15th, which is very impressive because remember, when you come down a second time like Byron has to, you have to line up behind the lap down cars as well. I know there's only a couple of them, but it's 2 or 3 more cars you have to pass.
You mentioned Chase Briscoe for Joe Gibbs Racing, and he is the first car on that lap 74 strategy, which these two are on here. They took 2 tires. This man here in the Zepp Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing is the first on that strategy to take 4 tires on that cycle. So deeper into this run, we'll see how that works for the driver of the 19. There's still 71 laps left in this stage.
With the rain, we haven't really been able to focus on what I would consider some standard talking points. A new tire combination here in New Hampshire, and Jeff, we thought that it definitely lost more grip than tires have in the past. As you see Briscoe using those 4 tires to turn to the left side of Zane Smith, who's on much older tires. But I think you and I were both excited to think that tires mattered. This is a track where we've seen track position really dominate. We would love new tires to be an advantage and, you know, kind of encourage cars to be on alternate strategies.
See a good scrap going on here with Cindric and Bell. Time for a Toyota driver update to show you who's doing what. And Bubba Wallace is the highest place, sits 3rd at the moment.
Yeah, my apologies to Christopher Bell when I was giving updates of recoveries. I mentioned Byron Briscoe, forgot Bell, who's also plus 10.
He is rolling. I mean, the pace this car has and the number of cars that he's passed. I thought yesterday he had one of the best cars in practice, and I spoke to him this morning, and he was like, nah, I'm not so happy. Top 10 would be a good day for us, and I was very surprised to hear him say that.
Maybe that's just because he has this expectation being the, you know, he's won 2 of the last 4 races here, has that feel he's looking for. You know, sometimes, even though the car is fast, if it doesn't have the feel, the driver's not as excited as he could be.
His couple of teammates, bottom box. Ryan Preece, Chris Buescher. Let's talk more about Ryan Preece with Kim.
Yeah, Ryan Preece still in that 4th position. We thought they were only going to come down lap 115. That lap has come and gone because Ryan has been able to hang on. Crew chief Derek Finley had decided to push it later into the run. That way he had fresher tires for the second half of this stage. Take a listen to the radio communication.
I'm 125 to 130, so whatever that is. He's leveling out with these guys, man. We're good. Just keep running.
You guys just got to figure it out, and I'll keep driving, okay? Let me drive. I'm sick of hearing it.
So the driver a little bit frustrated with over-communication from the team. So, Jeff, how much information is too information?
I'll be honest, I don't really need to know when we're going to pit. Just give me a couple laps before is all I need to know. But, you know, every driver's different. Some drivers like to be involved in that conversation. But, you know, Ryan Preece clearly is like, hey, look, you guys figure that out. I'm going to drive this race car. Just tell me what you want me to do.
That's what he was telling Derek Finley, just in a more assertive way.
Well, he does not have time to have a rational conversation.
Marty, what you got?
Creeping into that window where teams will split stage 2 in half. Alan Gustafson making the call to bring Chase Elliott to pit road on the very early side of that window. They had a rough stop earlier in the day, a little miscommunication on that stop, had to stop a second time, and that's why they say it out. And you got to wonder if this is going to bring a lot more cars down pit road, especially, Steve, those who stayed out, like we heard the radio from Ryan Preece a moment ago.
Yeah, you lose about 30 seconds, 30, 31 seconds pitting with a good pit stop, which is what Chase Elliott has. So now let's just watch this 9 for a couple laps and see what new tires really look like. Because there have been races here, Jeff, where you leave pit road with new tires and you don't even really go anywhere. This corner right here, this car should have way more grip than the cars in front of them if you think new tires are going to matter. And look, it kind of does, but
I would like to see the next lap.
Hey guys, check this out. This is just a short while ago. And yes, it's the two youngsters, Connor Zilic and Carson Hocevar. Zilic is on the lead lap. Hocevar's trying to get back on there. And they come together again. And then Hocevar runs Zilic high and wide. So there's a little bit of extra feeling there between those two today. And Ryan Preece is finally on pit road. To Marty's point, finally dives down, and Kim is standing by.
And Ryan Preece finally coming down pit road. Didn't have a lot of communication about the balance of the car. They did tell him he's making good time through 1 and 2, but needs to figure out how to make better time through 3 and 4 as you see those 4 fresh Goodyears going on in Sunoco fuel.
.48's in as well, Kim.
Yes, Alex Bowman, this team was very optimistic about what they had today. Crew Chief Blake Harris telling me they felt they were good on the long run, just could use a little bit more grip on that 48.
Kim, surprised Michael McDowell was able to make it last this long into that stage. Radioed pretty early into stage 2. He felt like he had a right rear vibration, but he was able to limp it all the way until 62 to go here in stage 2 for Michael McDowell, Kim.
And here's Connor Zilic. He just reported still tight center, loose firing off. You see the chassis adjustment to try and help that for Connor Zilic.
Been a productive day considering where he started. Ran well on those wet weather tires, and then when there was the competition caution to go back to dries, he then climbed up as well. You may remember at the top of the show I mentioned that the historic, the famed Wood Brothers organization has never won a cup race here in Loudon. Well, they've never led this many laps until today. Congrats on achieving that, Josh Berry. 34 laps led so far. That's the most for this famed team. Could he take it all the way and give them their very first win here?
Well, and to circle back on the conversation about, say, Chase Elliott, who came to get fresh tires, a 30-50 for him, a 30-80 for the leader. So definitely more speed, but only 0.3 of a second. A lot of tracks we go to, Richmond, for instance, 2.5, 3 seconds difference on new tires. 0.3 of a second is just not going to drive the entire field to pit road, and that's why you're seeing kind of more of a trickle to pit road than everybody pitting on the same laps. If I'm Barry, Blaney, Wallace, I just don't have a reason to come right now. Nobody has pitted close enough running to me, Jeff, that they've kind of pushed me into their strategy.
You're looking at Josh Berry for the Wood Brothers leading this Dollar Tree 301 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Bubba Wallace, 23.11, dives for pit road. Marty's there.
First of the top 5 drivers, Bubba Wallace gives up third to come to pit road. Earlier they had been talking about how the car was edgy, but said better on this run, Kim.
And for Chris Buescher in the 17 car, just tight has been the issue. Tight in center and tight on throttle. Hamlin finishing up his service. Loose on entry was the report for the 11 car, Marty.
Christopher Bell made progress from the back of the field to the back half of the top 10 and kind of stopped there. He said the car just needed to be freed up a little bit more to be in that much of traffic.
Here comes Larson, Dave.
And Kyle talked about not being able to turn his hands when he radioed the team and told him what he wanted out of the 5 car. I believe that means he's a bit free right now, so he'll hit his marks. Nice, solid run here. 4 tires and fuel, Marty.
Really busy right now, William Byron. Terrific on the longer run. Rudy Fugle said, hey, want any big changes? He said, nothing big here. Feel really good about that long run pace.
Leader of the race, Josh Berry, on pit lane now. Took 2 tires last time. He'll take 4 this time. Report that he is a bit loose for that race car, but pretty much happy out front in clean air. Wood Brothers True going to work now. 4 tires, he is done.
Look at this, look at this. Close between the fellow Ford drivers, and Berry remains ahead of Blaney.
Now who can get these cold tires kind of up to temperature? It takes, what, a lap and a half, 2 laps for it to really settle in while fighting traffic. 21's going to have that 7 between them. That'll be a nice little cushion. Take a little bit of pressure off.
You've got to love this fighting spirit from Josh Berry. He is telling the world, take a look at me. I don't have a ride next year, but this is what I'm capable of doing. Taking it to the big names, racing at the front, loving racing here in Loudon.
And with that, the majority of the pit cycles completed. Just Suarez, Custer, Stenhouse Jr., the 3 cars in the top 10 who have yet to pit on this cycle.
Tell you what, it's a very productive day for RFK. Whether you look at Priest or Buescher or Brad Keselowski on that last stint, he had a really good run. So those guys have come to play as well.
Yeah, and for Suarez, Custer, and Stenhouse, it's almost about trying to save a lap here. They know they're behind on strategy. They haven't had the best of days. Stenhouse was in that accident, so he's looking for a caution. Right now would be a big cycle and track position for those guys.
Bubba Wallace runs 3rd at the moment. And Marty mentioned this a little earlier. What a dramatic turnaround. He was desperately disappointed after qualifying yesterday and has just methodically worked his way through this field, got himself up into that top group, and has stayed there, Jeff.
Yeah, and he pitted a couple laps before the 21 and the 12. He was 5 seconds back, and now he's cut it to 2.5 seconds back. So I don't know if just a little bit on pit road earlier, Steve, and obviously his pit crew did a good job. He did a good job going down pit road as well.
Blaney doing a nice job on that set of tires here. That lap was almost 0.2 of a second faster than Berry. Trying to contend with this 10 car of Ty Dillon.
Boy, that was a graphic shot there of that bump on that entrance to turn 3. Yeah. As you saw that kind of, just illustrated it, just how well the cars react to that and what they have to do behind the wheel. Here comes Joey Logano. It's been a rough day since that crash. Dave?
Comes to pit road now to the attention of his crew. Yeah, they did some damage repair on that car. Now running a lap down is Joey, trying to make something out of today.
Back to the front.
It's fun watching this battle. Watch where each driver is trying to make speed. Watch his 12 car corner entry. He smokes it down in there, carries a lot of speed. And then right there, the 21 of Berry, that's where his strength is. Middle, just past the middle of the corner. His car rotates well, leaves with great speed. Blaney once again closes in, and right there, see the 21 how well it points? Oh, big run by the 12 here. But that 21, Steve, it rotates, and then he's able to go to the gas, and that's
right.
where his strength is. They run about the same speed, but they're doing it two completely different ways.
Let's have a look at some Dollar Tree telemetry from the 12, the Menards Ford of Ryan Blaney. Have a look at these numbers.
Kind of see that pause, right? It gets to 50% throttle pretty quick, but then just has to take a beat to let the car probably do the rest of its turning.
Twelve keeps getting lower and lower on
Yeah.
corner exit, trying to just get a little bit of clean air, get the front of that car to rotate. That corner looked really good. Now back to the top. That's where the 21 is stronger. Whenever the 12 goes high, it's an advantage to Barry. Let's see what Blaney does this time. Back to that low line. Both ends of this racetrack look very similar, but they are not. They are completely different. The way the banking changes throughout the corner. The exit of turn 2 is much tighter than the exit of 4. Blaney now working that bottom lane. They have way less banking on the bottom, but it works well.
And these two are in their own world. They're some 3 seconds up the road from third place Bubba Wallace. Marty?
Blaney doing all he can to get by Josh Berry here. You know, it's interesting, Steve. Last year, Ryan Blaney, Jonathan Hassler won this race, but Blaney admitted earlier this week, we weren't that good on short runs. That was our weakness on the 12 car. So they put a lot of effort into being better on those shorter runs. And if he is better on the short run, he could maybe make this pass for the lead.
Which is funny. Forever, Penske was known as a short-run company. And in the last few years, they have completely flipped it. And they have become a really, really nice long-run company.
Josh Berry has led 53 laps today. 23 more than Shane Van Gisbergen. Where is SVG? He's back down in 20th position. 2 ahead of his teammate Connor Zilic. And if you weren't with us earlier, unfortunately for Ross Chastain, he went out of this race earlier. 40 to go in stage 2 in this Dollar Tree 301. Dollar Tree 301 presented by Toyota. the second to last regular season race. Daytona International Speedway next weekend. You'll see it on NBC. Before we go into the chase, and yes, you're seeing a new race leader in Ryan Blaney, the defending winner here in Loudon. Check this out.
It looked like Josh Berry got into the corner. Everything looked good, and then he just had to chase the car up the racetrack, and Blaney's car has been rolling the bottom really well and just took complete advantage of it. It's a little bit of a mistake from Berry, and then he's like, hey, I know you're quicker. I'm not going to drive into turn 3 on your door.
We mentioned earlier in the show, for those of you who weren't with us a little while ago, that the man sitting in between Steve and myself, Jeff Burton, a 4-time winner here in New Hampshire. Was there something that you did specifically that made you so good here? I mean, one of the races, you led every single lap. That was in 2099. You came from 38th to win the race. What did you do that made you so special here?
When you watch Blaney, that corner entry speed here, I think it's just free. I think this is one of those racetracks where you can actually overdrive the entry, and it doesn't hurt you that much. The center of the corner is so far away, you can get it slowed down and get it pointed in the right direction. That's what Blaney does as well. He carries tons of entry speed. I just think it's free. I think it's not much penalty if you make a mistake.
3 cars that are having very good runs today, and that is all 3 RFK Racing Fords. Roush, Fenway, Keselowski. I say it all the way out because the Fenway group based in New England, yes, the same group that owns the Red Sox, a big part of this team, has been there for decades, or over a decade for sure. And the 60 of Priest running 4th, the 17 of Buescher 5th, Brad Keselowski 6th. So RFK really showing up. And I will tell you, this being one of the first weeks of 2 sets of tires and 50 minutes of practice, I wasn't sure what we would learn, and I think it really was a telltale. Blaney good in practice, Berry great in practice. I didn't see it so much out of the 6, but I thought the 17 was good in practice. Yep. Larson, Gibbs, Hamlin, and a look at the top 9. Really the only car missing is Byron and Bell, who are 11th and 12th, but both had pit issues. I think we're going to see them cycle forward as well.
I thought it was good. It gave the teams time to do something with it. Instead of rushing in your 25 minutes. And I like them all 50-minute block, and everybody's together.
Sunday saying, I'm not sure, because he was in the first group. With everybody in the same group, I think it's a little bit more fair to compare.
Well, Brad's one of those drivers that has been asking for more practice.
Kyle Larson is relentless here on this pursuit for the 6 of Brad Keselowski. This is for 6th place. And the 2-time Loudon winner in Brad Keselowski does not want to give it up. We'll keep an eye on that as it's time to go through the field as Kyle Larson makes that pass on Brad. Let's go through the field. Let's start at the top, and we kick it off with Marty Snyder. Marty?
Yeah, Lee, we'll try to take you to the top 10 here. Ryan Blaney trying to get back-to-back wins here at New Hampshire. So what's left to fight for in the regular season? Blaney will be very quick to tell you, 2nd in the chase standings. That's what we're fighting for. They are there right now, but just 23 points separate Blaney from 4th place Tyler Reddick. He said there's a lot that we could gain, also a lot we could lose over the next 2 weeks. Dave, a New Hampshire win would go into the right category.
Here's what Josh Berry said after he got passed for the lead.
Yeah, it's not any better. You're going to have to make it better. You want to win. Figure it out.
Gonna have to make it better if you want to win. When I talked to crew chief Miles Stanley this morning, he said finishing 2nd last year, it stung. Sounds like it stung to Josh Berry too, Marty.
Dave, when I talked to Charles tonight, the crew chief for Bubba Wallace, I said, what do you need today? He said, a solid day. That's all we need. If we have solid days and we quit making mistakes and we can eliminate errors on everyone's part, we look like a completely different team over the last 2 months. This is the kind of run that 23-11 team needed, sitting in 3rd right now, Kim.
And Ryan Preece running in that 4th position, primed to earn some solid stage points after earning a few in the first stage as well, and that was their goal. Ryan telling me we can definitely take a big bite into that points difference that SVG has on us. We're coming in with a mindset of trying to go for it all. Realistically, they feel like if they're within 10 to 15 points of that cut line going into Daytona, that they without a doubt have a chance at making the chase. As we move to his teammate, Chris Buescher, running in the 5th position. Talked to crew chief Scott Graves, who told me they found some improvements that he liked last weekend at Richmond on their short track program, but they can't hold serve knowing that there's short tracks in the playoffs, so they have to keep digging. They tried some bit different yesterday in practice, felt good about the car. It had speed, balance was okay, but he said the biggest thing was in traffic, he was very good. The car had maneuverability. Right now, that 17, though, building just a little bit tight, Dave.
Kyle Larson, you saw him take 6th position. Cliff Daniels told me this morning that yesterday was a typical 5-car Saturday. He said we were a little confused as to what to give the driver or what he wanted. Must have been a good cup of coffee because they have run well today and are running toward the front. As for 7th position now, that is the 6 of Brad Keselowski. You guys just praised him. Actually, Jerry Bones told me that that driver is very adaptable. As many years as he's run this track and as many wins as he has, he's not afraid to change his line and make his car better. That's work today for him, Kim.
And Ty Gibbs running solidly in the 8th position despite battling a plowing tight car. So tight, in fact, the last run he said he couldn't do anything. Ask crew chief Tyler Allen what their goal was over the next 2 races, being that he's 3rd in the chase standing. He said, we just had to clean up those minor mistakes. Remember, last week they finished 15th at Richmond after Ty got a speeding penalty under green. He said those small things add up to a championship. We have to keep doing what we're doing, but at the next level. As we move to his teammate, Denny Hamlin, running in that 9th position. Hamlin having a good day after having to fall from the back. Remember, he was part of that early incident, although didn't get major contact on that 11 car. The goal for this team heading into next week, Chief Chris Fiel told me, don't lose 39 points this week so we can walk into next weekend carefree. Don't look now, though. His competition, the 2nd place in the standings, Ryan Blaney, currently at the point. That might throw that 11 team, Marty, for a little bit of a loop.
Kim, the 3rd Gibbs car in a row is Chase Briscoe, who will quickly tell you New Hampshire's been a very difficult track for me to learn over the years, but I couldn't be with a better team than the 19 bunch and James Small. They had so much success here with Martin Truex Jr. They've been trying to recover from that rough pit stop earlier in the day. Right now sitting in 10th, and a moment ago he radioed the team. I think I might have a tire going down. The pace has still been in the 19, though. Remember, Lee, they had that tire go down in practice yesterday, but so far he's been okay with 22 to go here in stage 2.
Yeah, running nicely in the top 10, working away at it. It's worthwhile saying, too, that we are over the halfway mark of this race in case weather turned against us. It looks pretty stable right now. It looks really stable for Ryan Blaney up front. Encouraging you to stick around after we are done with the race and post-race coverage here on USA, because it's NASCAR Americana again. 3rd episode in as many weeks, presented by Busch Light. Compelling stories, really great to hear from legends of the sport, current drivers of the sport. Pleased to say that our very own Steve Letarte, Kim Kuhn, are part of the Americana 3-part series That is on tonight after we are done here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway and our post-race show as well.
Last cars. On 92. I'm trying to get some help with the 4 here. One lane to the other.
That was radio from the 12 of Ryan Blaney. Words was trying to get some help from the 4 of Noah Gragson just to make life a little easier, because Josh Berry had eaten into that more than 1.5 second lead that Ryan Blaney was boasting. And look at this, still can't quite clear Gragson side by side with the front row driver.
Gragson's fighting hard to try to stay in the lead lap. With 15 to go, there's a big gap between the 12 and the next car, which is the 33 of Austin Hill. He's having a good run today.
So the last 6 races have been something of a yo-yo type experience for Tyler Reddick. Bad result, good result. Bad result, good result. We're talking about the guy who won the Daytona 500 in 5 races this year. And Dave, this weekend has been emblematic of that as well. Bad qualifying, bad practice, great qualifying. And the race is similar.
No, sorry, my friend. Yeah, this has been, after he finished practice poorly yesterday, he just kind of gave a belly laugh on the radio coming in. But they qualified on the pole, and that was just a result of hitting everything perfectly, setup, change, and driver. So today, got a lap down, got the free pass, and got back to doing things the right way. I believe if my count is right, he went from restarting 20th to 13th, so he's picked up spots, and he just radioed his team a few laps ago. Migration has been pretty good on this run, and I would say so when you're going the right direction.
I will tell you, sometimes, this car was backwards at lap 3/4, right? If they could come back and finish inside the top 10, make their car better than it was in practice, that sometimes could be as uplifting, I won't say as a win, but running second or third all day, to think that you guys kind of got pushed into a corner and fought your way out as a team.
And throughout the whole weekend, because they were so horrible in practice and sat on the pole, then get spun out. A series of events. You can take a bad thing and turn it into something good, and that's what they could do. They certainly need some good messaging. They need some good feel moments, some feel-good moments.
All I will warn is this track has a high probability of being very calm until it isn't. And when it gets crazy in that last stage, we get a whole bunch of yellows. You end up with split strategies. You end up with the wrong strategy. How many times, Jeff, did you leave here? I know I have, thinking, man, I thought we had a top 5 day. Where did it go off the rails? And then you look at the rundown, like, how did that guy run 5th? Because I passed him 3 times during the day.
By the way, that move there was for 12th. And just going back to the up and down nature of the day and recently on the season for the 45 of Reddick, when he was sitting at the front of the field sideways before completing lap 1 today, I wonder if it ran through his head, is this another Iowa where he crashed out after just 4 laps? Remember that? Turn 1 in Iowa. He's like, not again. But unfortunately for him, he got away with it.
You had mentioned Noah Gragson racing Blaney hard. Behind him, the 21 of Berry. Well, now the next 2 large cars in line are Gragson and Austin Hill. So Gregson's trying to get in front of the 33 for the free pass. He's going to roll to the outside of the 33 right here, puts himself back into the position. This could be a huge swing at the course of the day if you can stay on the lead lap. Now, the other challenge is in the next 9 laps, he can't allow Blaney to catch Zane Smith. So right now, Noah Gregson's trying to race his own race, but he's hoping his teammate Zane Smith can find a way to stay in front of that 12 car.
This is Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, and that pass was for 5th.
Remember that 5 car came on late at Richmond. Finished in 6th after what was a pretty mediocre day until the end. Turned into an amazing night with the trip to Knoxville and then a trip to Victory Lane, leading all 50 laps in the Knoxville Nationals. And hats off to Kyle Larson, who has taken more than one black eye from Mother Nature in his attempt to run the double in Charlotte and Indy. So for once, Mother Nature helps, delays the Knoxville Nationals, gives him a chance to run the race.
It was wild how many people were watching his aircraft. Eve, they said it was the most watched aircraft in the world for that period of time.
I was listening to an interview this week on Sirius XM NASCAR with Cliff Daniels, his crew chief, who some of the credit goes to Cliff for getting him there. But Cliff was very open in saying, hey, don't put all the praise on me. Jeff Andrews, the president at Hendrick Motorsports, whose dad to build sprint car engines in California, he said, Jeff really wanted Kyle to be there, so it was a team effort to get our man there.
Yeah, and don't tell me you care about me, show me, right?
Yeah.
You know it's important to me, do something, that's what they did. Up the road, I'd mentioned Zane Smith unable to run down or to stay in front of Blaney. 47 of Ricky Stenhouse next car up the road, he's laps down. In front of him, SVG. 31 points above Priest, 6 laps to stay on the lead lap. That could be a big difference in points.
SVG just ran the 3rd fastest lap on the racetrack. He's got a decent race car. That was the 4th fastest.
And he's running 15th overall.
Of course, the guy behind him has the fastest, so he's got to go. Stay on the lead lap.
5 to go in this stage. Can he hang on and stay on that lead lap? This is the guy you're talking about who's led 30 laps today in those tricky conditions a little earlier in that mixed condition opening stage. This race started on wet weather tires if you weren't with us earlier. And then there was a competition caution to switch to the dries. And then away we went again.
How about Blaney has a nearly 15-second lead on 4th?
Pretty crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
Here we go.
Point opportunity here be taken away from Priest.
Big difference in when they stopped too. Ryan Priest stopped 10 laps earlier than Kyle Larson. So Larson's tires are in much better shape. That's why he's caught the 60 so effectively. Now he just needs to get by him. That'd be a move for 4th.
Drivers will get out after this race and say it's a possible pass, and Blaney will be like, well, I lapped you. You know, there's only 15 cars in the lead lap.
3 laps to go in this stage.
Remember the strategies in stage 1 was really big for Priest and Buscher. They've got that track position, but they've done a really good job of keeping it.
Yeah, stayed out, right? They didn't pit at the end of stage 1. They had come with 20 or 30 laps to go on the stage. It's a good point, Jeff, because now they've kept it.
It's one thing to put me in position, Steve, and I got to find a way to keep it.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, Steve. The big picture for Ryan Priest and RFK is to make it into the chase, and they have trimmed that 50-point deficit to Shane Van Gisbergen to 31. There's just 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank in this 2nd stage. Ryan Blaney, 2 seconds over Josh Berry, and then another 3 seconds back to Bubba Wallace.
SVG has caught these 2 cars in front of him, and he cannot find a way around them, and that has allowed Blaney to run it down.
That's Daniel Suarez that he's able to clear. And he'll be able to stay ahead of Ryan Blaney and on that lead lap. Blaney wins stage 2 and notches up another one, which is huge points-wise. That's his 7th win of a stage this season. Most out of any driver in the field. And credit to Ryan Priest. He was able to keep Kyle Larson at bay with 10 lap older tires. Nice job. Is he going to be the man to beat 2 years in a row? At the moment, it sure looks like it. Ryan Blaney. USA Sports coverage of NASCAR is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. National Debt Relief. Our team's here to help you get out of debt. Zep, from pit road to victory lane. Messes have zero chance. And by Dollar Tree, delivering value, convenience, and discovery every day for over 40 years. And there's Eric Jones, driver of the Dollar Tree Toyota for Legacy Motor Club. All right, let's have a look at points earned today. You'll hear the drivers talk about it more and more now that we're in this revised chase setting and system about grabbing as many stage points as you can. You circled Ryan Preece there, productive day in his quest to chase and catch Shane Van Gisbergen for that 16th and final spot.
Yeah, and those aren't hypothetical. Those are earned. Those 10 points are in the bank. So regardless of the finish, he has guaranteed that he's earned at least 10 points today, hopefully 10 more than SVG if you're a Ryan Preece fan. Preece currently running in 4th, SVG 15th. And that graphic's going to be very interesting over the next 11 weeks. You know, you got one more week to set the chase at Daytona, but then we've never had stage points and a chase. This is a whole new policy, so a lot to go along here.
Those shots were very telling about how the conditions have changed here. It's got considerably darker as some more clouds have rolled in. Pit lane is open, and here we go. Kim standing by. It's going to get busy, Kimmy.
Yeah, and Ryan Preece will pit from the 4th position. The only car that came at the front end of that green flag cycle to hang on there on the long run. He just reported 2 free with the right rear. They'll adjust on that, Marty.
Ryan Blaney said the car kept more rear drive late, and they push him back in his stall. They do not get the left front tight for Ryan Blaney, who won that stage. Bubba Wallace said he was 2 free on entry late in the run, Dave.
Help coming for Josh Berry in and off the corner. Good 4-tire stop, and he will get ahead of the 12 per the problems that they had.
Oh, boy. Have a look at this. Just when it was all going so right, it got away from them. Problems for the man who has the fast car and who has led 41 laps today. Blaney's going to be playing catch-up. This is it, the final race of the regular season.
Daytona may not crown the champion, but it will decide who gets to chase one.
It's time to bring the action in. Are you ready? Let's go!
And on this track, everything can change in an instant. The final spots for the 16 drivers on the line. The final race for the chase is on. NASCAR heads to Daytona, Saturday at 7:30, live on NBC.
That's right, you'll see it on network television NBC next weekend from the World Center of Racing. Cannot wait. Coke Zero Sugar 400. It's going to be a brilliant night, but we've got work to get done here. We've got a lot of fun to have as well because there's still 111 laps to turn in this Dollar Tree 301 in New Hampshire. Oh boy, how quickly things turned for the 12, Steve.
Yeah, this team had pit crew issues early in the year, but they've really cleaned it up. Been clean since Sonoma, but this will make the 9th major mistake for the 12 car. Watch the left front. The exchange looks okay. I believe what happens is the the lug nut that is supposed to stay in the socket is gone. Tire changer takes it off his bolt, starts it, tries to tighten it. It doesn't thread correctly. Then they have to stop the car, jack it back up right there, pause it. You see the lug nut down here in the ground. There you go. Now the tire carrier is going to pick up the lug nut, put it on. You have to jack the car up to tighten the wheel. Result of the calamity drops Blaney all the way back to 14th. Let's listen into the radio.
Come on, dog. Like, man. Is it tight? Is all tight or do I need to come back? No, you're good. You're good.
I'm sorry, Jeff, but they were rough early. I thought they had it cleaned it up. Since Sonoma, they have been crystal clean. 9th big issue of the year, though.
Yeah, it's been really tough. Their rating's very bad. 128 spots lost on pit road this year. It just, you know, it's just so hard to recover from them. On the other side of that, Bubba Wallace came on pit road running 3rd, and he came out with the lead. Bubba Wallace's pit crew is ranked 8th on the year. Was able to beat the 21 out. 21 has been ranked about 28th, 29th. So now Bubba Wallace has an opportunity. He's got to take advantage of it. Larson in 3rd. Dave, what do you have on Josh Berry?
They had a great pit stop, Jeff, after a tense conversation between driver and crew chief.
Definitely better on drive from 25 laps on into the run to the 12. What are you talking about? I'm sitting here watching it. I'm watching it on a microscope with SFT, and I'm telling you that we're beating him on drive later in the run. He beats us rolling into the corner with a little bit less brake pressure.
Miles preaching it, and he got the adjustments made on the 21. We'll see how good he is on this run.
Little tense. They really want the victory. And Bubba Wallace is in a great position considering where he was a couple of weeks ago. He's had some opportunities to really shine and it went away from him. So he's like, I'm going to make the most of this and capitalize on this. Has the lead. Ryan Preece, how about the performance of the RFK 60, the Mohawk Ford for the New Englander? Racing at home. He's got his boss and his teammate Brad Keselowski right with him, and his other teammate Chris Buescher. Echo Park Automotive restart zone. Away we go. Wallace, Berry diving into turn 1. Look at Josh.
Bell jumped out of line back there on the 3rd row. Really wraps the bottom. If he can get the power down, it'll be a big gain. Yeah, it's a big move for Bell. Passes an entire row as the front are still side by side.
Look at that down the back straight. Bubba Wallace got a great drive off turn 2 and into 3. They're side by side. Berry is determined to keep this lead. Bubba around the outside.
Preece with a big run from behind.
Berry back to the front. Larson's looking at that 60, but he's going to have to look at his rearview mirror as well because Christopher Bell's on a move.
Berry just overdrove the entry into 1. Left the bottom open for the 23 of Bubba, and Bubba just could not take advantage of it on the exit of turn 2.
Wow, Tyler Reddick dives on the inside down into turn 3 in that 45. They're 3 wide, mid-corner. What a great couple of restart laps. Big moves, great driving. These two have found each other numerous times this year. I'm talking about Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson. And here they are again, the yellow and blue Camry, the Zep machine of Chase Briscoe. He's flying around the outside in 9th at the moment. He goes door to door into 3 with Reddick.
Oh, the 17 of Buescher's trying to get that 19 up out of the groove. And he's able to do it.
Chris Buescher said, I have mixed emotions about this place. I feel like I can do well. I want to do well, but the results aren't there big picture-wise. He said, but I felt the same about Richmond until we started getting good results there. So I'd like to turn it around here in Loudon. So far, so good for the driver of the 17. He runs 9th.
Oh, Briscoe sideways in the middle of the corner.
Brad Keselowski takes a look at Ty Gibbs there. Not quite close enough to make that move stick. And here comes Hamlin. Denny is in the top 10. Right behind one of his employees who he had to come to a grinding halt to right here at the end, or not even at the end of lap 1, 3/4 of a lap through.
Yeah.
In the wet conditions on the wet tires.
Hamlin had a slow stop as well in the last pit stop. Doing a nice job recovering. 12.6 seconds on that pit stop for Hamlin. Most of the leaders had sub 10-second pit stops.
BuiltSubmarines.com rear view camera looks at Chris Buescher to the left, Tyler Reddick to the right. There's Hamlin just peeking up the inside. And here comes Ryan Blaney. Remember, he started in 14th. He's made up 2 spots already.
Right behind him, that 4 of Noah Gragson is for the free pass position. Racing Riley Herbst, who's a few cars back, so Noah's looking pretty good. The 3 front row Fords. Zane Smith is on the lead lap at 16th. Nice run. Gregson 21st. Gilliland had a nice day going. It's starting to slip away a little bit. He's back at 23rd. Worth noting, we had a couple cars try to wave around to get back on the lead lap. That's why there seems to be more. The 48 of Bowman, the 43 of Jones, the 22 of Logano, and the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. All opting not to pit, waving around, looking for a quick yellow. That puts 20 cars in the lead lap.
Blaney's finally alongside the 19 of Briscoe on corner entry. Just really sails it down in the corner. He's going to clear Briscoe. Now he's trying to get by the 11.
Jeff, I don't know if it's the horsepower increase or the tire change, but way up here, that's a little higher than I expected. But I've seen more cars be able to recover, even that.
Yes.
Recover from running all the way up to what I call the 3rd lane and still have speed on corner exit.
Yeah, I agree. I think that extra horsepower really helps. Oh, contact! The 12 into the back of the 11.
This is going to be fun to watch. What a view on board with Briscoe. Love to know what he's thinking.
Hamlin letting him know. I'm not happy with that.
Caution's out. What's it for? And it's the 77 of Hocevar. What's happened?
We saw the 4 of Noah Gragson racing hard to be the first car 1 lap down. It appears he did get that done.
And think about the gamble for the free pass, the cars we just mentioned. Joey Logano continues to fight back on the lead lap. Stenhouse after damage in the wall. Bowman and Jones. Gambles paid off. They all get a lap back.
Great call by Mike Kelly on that 47 with the damage to get back in the lead lap.
Let's find out what happened to Carson Hocevar.
Just loose. The last 3 weeks have been eventful for this team.
Yeah.
I know that it's a success making the chase, but you really want to enter that chase with some positive momentum. This was that contact. This is actually the 2nd time Blaney got into the back of Hamlin. I saw it a few laps ago. And Hamlin, door to door. Hey, buddy, don't appreciate that. But then Blaney right here cuts him some slack. Like, Blaney could have shipped it down in there and run the 11 up the racetrack. Yeah. He says, hey, man, I got into you. We're going to work this out. We race well together.
Front half of the field, I imagine, to stay out, but the back half could pit. There you go. Bell brings many. About 10 laps on the tires, but we are only about 3 laps outside of a fuel window. This could be the difference maker. Look at him packing this 11 full of gas. I'm not sure the pit crew is even ready for Denny to come down pit road, Kim.
Yeah, as we just saw Denny Hamlin and now Christopher Bell on pit road.
It was right sides for Christopher Bell as Hamlin wraps up that 4-tire stop. Ryan Blaney also coming here. Steve, to your point, 97 to go. They can make it to the end of the race from here on fuel. Can the tires make it to the end of the race? That's the question.
Well, we've seen Ryan Preece really care and manage his tires very well. That was a costly stop for Denny Hamlin. inside the Dollar Tree Camry with Eric Jones at the Dollar Tree 301, presented by Toyota. Wow, we got 95 to go in this stage, in this race. How is it going to play out? Well, it's not playing out the way that Denny Hamlin hoped, that's for sure.
No, Denny Hamlin stops at his pit stall, only the 4th one on pit road. Gas man's ready. Everybody else is on a lunch break or miscommunication. I'm not sure what happened with the 11 car. So let's listen into the 11.
Enchiladas. One's open. We're going to be ready. Be ready. We're coming, dragging the lot. 8 away. 5. 3, 2, 1. 4 tires, guys. Go, go, go. 4 tires. 4 tires. What are we doing?
What are we doing? That seems like an accurate statement. Some sort of code word on the back stretch, and then 2 people on the radio at once, then Denny or the spotter saying they're coming. I get so irritated with these code words. I understand if you're leading the race and you're coming to the end of the race, 2 versus 4. There's a moment in time where hiding your poker hand makes a big difference. But I see more mistakes than I ever see somebody copying one another. And then right there, cost the 11. It seemed like the 11 driver had a plan. And I'm not sure what the crew chief's plan was because I don't have their cheat sheet, but the pit crew, the crew chief, and the driver were on 3 separate plans, or at least 2 separate plans, and it cost the 11 some track position that they have worked most of the day to gain. Now they are 17th. In a good position because they can make it on fuel, but they are the 6th of the cars that can make it on fuel. Bell starting 10th on 2 tires, Byron on 11th on 4 are the 2 cars leading the pack that I think can make it to the finish.
All right, now I need you to exhale.
I can't.
Okay.
It's the dumbest thing every single week. I have an idea. If we're going to pit and change 4 tires, this is way outside the box.
So you pit, change 4 tires.
4 tires. And it's not just the 11. It's up and down pit road. I understand why they do it with technology and scanners, but the communication is so important. It's frustrating when the miscommunication happens.
You have to admit the positive is that an enchilada would be pretty good right now.
Yeah, steak, chicken, they didn't know even what to order. They were totally lost on what the enchilada was.
It was should have been churros.
I mean,
that's for dessert.
Marty, what you got?
Real quick, one to update you on Chase Elliott. He said he's having a water temp issue. It will spike very quickly. Talked to Bobby Dell from the Hendrick Engine Department. He said there definitely is an issue. It's coming down under caution, but it could be a problem later for Chase Elliott.
Toyota Camry XSE pace car leaves the racing surface. We're ready to get back to it here. Josh Berry is in a pretty special space at the moment. He has never been in the top 5 this many laps in a race in his Cup career, and he's led the most laps this race, and he leads the field. But here comes Wallace. Wallace on the inside. Keselowski's in the mix. Gibbs is there. Ryan Preece, the 60 that runs 3rd. Reddick makes a big move on the inside of Keselowski down into 3.
oh man, tight race between the 21 and the 23. Berry got a great restart, but Bubba Wallace is battling back.
Ford versus Toyota. Back into turn 1. Wallace at the front. Berry, Preece, Larson, Gibbs, Reddick, and Keselowski. And there you pick up Hamlin and Blaney. The 11 and the 12 are side by side. They're fighting over 13th place.
Trying to be the first car that can make it to the end on fuel. I know it's 91 laps away and the tires will fall off. Another yellow will absolutely probably bring guys in for fresh tires. But right now, Bell in that 20 car is leading that pack as Wallace and Berry run 1-2 in the race. On board with Bell right here. Oh, nice little move right there to the outside of the 45.
Yeah, just trying to get position. Just trying to put the 45 in a position where he can't throttle up on corner exit. That wasn't the fastest way to make a lap time, but it's the way to make a pass.
These guys are so good. They're all so good with their racecraft.
Blaney's gotten hung up a little bit on this restart.
So Bell gets Reddick, who did not pit. And everybody else ahead as Blaney goes to the inside of Chase Briscoe. So Wallace and Berry and Preece and Larson and Gibbs and Keselowski, they all stayed out. Bell, who runs 7th, first one who pitted on that particular cycle. Watch how far that Ream 20 Toyota Camry can go. Keselowski's the next one on his list. We ride with Brad. It's been a super day for RFK and the 3 Fords, but how's it going to work out? Bell to the inside. Meanwhile, up front, Wallace and Berry are still going at it. There's nothing between those guys. Look to the next turn. Down into 3.
We saw this battle a little while ago. Blaney versus Briscoe. It took Blaney quite a while to get by Briscoe. I think Blaney's faster, but Briscoe does a really nice job of running that second and third lane. Watch Blaney right here. He's going to have to just send it down in there. Briscoe too smart for him. Pinches him off, runs that second lane right on his door.
They both pitted at the same time, so this is a fair fight. 1-on-1, and that's for 10th place.
I love what Briscoe's doing right here. Enters the corner really low, keeps the 12 car pinched off. Now, it takes a lot of trust to do that. You have to understand and believe. Big move. Battle for the lead also.
Bottom box, 3 wide. Briscoe down low. In the middle is William Byron and Tyler Reddick on the outside. I thought they were going to touch there. And now Blaney has a shot.
Does Byron know he's 3 wide? He's not. He might be. Top of the screen, the last 2 laps, Berry has definitely found a little something in 3 and 4.
Briscoe's one of the most difficult drivers to pass on restarts.
That fight you see between Briscoe and Byron, that's at the bottom of the top. 8th, 9th, and 10th, Reddick, Briscoe and Byron.
All these new tires are not giving them the advantage they were hoping for.
Yeah, only 10 laps fresher. I completely understand why Bell took 2. Now, I also understand why all these cars pitted. They needed the fuel to make it to the finish, and they thought 4 tires, even if it doesn't benefit now, Jeff, maybe that left rear, they want to have that fresh left rear as we run. We haven't really run, you know, we haven't put 90 laps on a set of tires. We had a 97-lap run, but there was a green flag cycle in the middle.
You saw Christopher Bell earlier working on Brad Keselowski. He is by him and cleared him. He's away. Bell entering turn 3, working his way through, is now on the back of Ty Gibbs for 5th, his teammate from JGR.
This is the first time since we got on dry tires that I've seen a car that can keep pace with the 21 or the 12.
Yep.
The 21 is, I think, a little bit quicker, but Bubba Wallace doing a nice job of running his line.
I know there's a long way to go. There's still 83 laps left in this race, but updating you on the points, down near the cut line for the chase. Shane Van Gisbergen in that 16th and final place. It has been a huge day for Ryan Preece. He has turned a 50-point deficit. At the moment as they run, he's trimmed it to 29. That's huge.
You just don't need as much luck at Daytona. You know, you think you might be able to get 29 by outrunning, score some stage points, run in the top 10, both stages, the top 10 in the race. You can see that that's a possibility.
Yeah, and SVG not having a bad day.
No.
You know, he's not having a bad day, but just not good enough.
Blaney starting to inch his way back in. He's to the inside of the 24. Can he gas it up and clear the 24 on corner exit? I think he will now.
Finally has it.
Yes.
But it took forever to make it happen, and look at the track position he's lost.
Let's talk more about Josh Berry with Dave.
He stayed out as well as Bubba Wallace, and remember, he was, and he told his crew it fired off really well, so it was kind of ironic that Bubba passed him on the restart. But remember that tense conversation the driver and crew chief of the 21 had? It was about you are better longer in the run. Steve talked about a good long run company right now, and you could see him right there. He's testing Bubba Wallace. He's getting closer as the laps add.
Great. Sorry, I was going to say it's great. I was comparing to the 12. It's like a new player now to the 23. I'm not sure he knows, or even I know, what the 23 is going to look like into this long run.
As Blaney executes that move on Tyler Reddick. Remember, the defending race winner restarted. Oh, contact between Berry and Wallace. Josh Berry is fired up today on the radio and behind the wheel.
Let's see if there's payback. He's close enough to if he wants to.
That was
Barry went to the apron. He was playing full defense, knowing contact was coming.
And here comes Bubba. He says, okay, I can play like that too if you like. And in the background is Ryan Preece. All three of these cars on the same strategy. Last pitted lap 189 for 4 tires. And again, almost contact between Berry and Wallace. And Preece has a front row view of this.
Kyle Larson. I'd love to know what he's thinking as he inches in on this battle.
Look at that move by Preece. Barry gave him the outside thinking he would not be able to go there, and he just took it from him.
He has taken it to another level here today, Ryan Preece.
There you go. That's a great example. A lot of fans at home are like, be more aggressive, be more aggressive. The 21 moves the 23 out of the way. The 23 says, not having it. It ends up costing Josh Berry a position.
Oh, and in the wall is Riley Herbst. Caution is out. That is nasty.
Big hit by Zilich.
Zilich could not get slowed down. He had front tires locked up trying to avoid it.
This is down in between turns 3 and 4. That's Connor Zilich. Wrong place, wrong time.
Safety personnel got there. AMR safety team got there as quickly as I've seen. I mean, they rolled fast to get to this 35 car Riley Herbst.
Man, a lot of damage on that 35.
Yeah.
Whew, that lead was heating up.
Good to see the wind in that down.
Is Michael McDowell in the 71 Delaware Life car. They're fighting over position there.
That is a huge hit. Impacts at this racetrack are always big, and that's, gosh. Wow. McDowell drives in the corner. Actually, it feels like Herbst comes down on him. Gosh, look at that, Steve.
That is a big, big hit. Yeah, contact early in the corner, and then the 71 up the track, definitely into the 35. And then here comes the 88, very late, but the front tires are locked up. I'm not sure what happened to the 88. Whether we didn't see it or got the front tires locked up. Pit road may remain closed now that we have the 88 on the apron. One of the later impacts. Not sure exactly what information the 88 had.
That was the view from Austin Dillon.
I just wonder if Zilich is on the straight, right? And he can't see it happening just from the angle that he is. You know, they were kind of high when they entered the corner, so he just wasn't able to get, he wasn't able to see it.
Riley climbs out.
Boy, that was a thunderous hit.
See, right here, corner entry, Herbst looks like he's trying to get to the second or third lane, and McDowell is not expecting him to be there. Now they're kind of both out of control.
There is the impact, and we've got another angle to show you. Have a look and have a listen to how nasty this was for Riley Herbst.
And then if we looked at that replay again, the 8 was behind the 3, and he had the front tires locked up and smoking. So I don't know if the 3 lifted and it caught Connor off guard and he got the brake pressure up with the tires locked up, but he was coming into the, watch the wreck first. Wreck's gonna happen. So then at the top of the screen here, coming into play right now, you're gonna see right here. Pause that right there. Look at the 88. He's behind the 3 and the front tires are already smoking. So I'm not sure if you just caught off guard. Well, the pit road is busy. Everybody to pit road, Kim.
And crew chief Derek Finley for Ryan Preece said, I don't like our options, but we can make it here on tires and fuel. Ryan saying, let's do it. Let's make the stop and just let me drive. Marty.
Not a word from Bubba Wallace about the contact from Josh Berry. He told his team, I'm just trying to manage my runs. Whatever you do, don't make my center too tight, Dave.
Josh Berry said the car was a little tight, center loose off. Something on the left front looked funny there. Not sure about that. The 5 car of Kyle Larson balance was fine, but it got hard to manage the exit switch.
2 tires win the race off pit road for Blaney, Byron, Briscoe, Logano, and Zane Smith. We'll kind of see what type of run we have to the end to see if 2 or 4 pay off on board with Zilich.
Dollar Tree 301. Boy, it's been an eventful day. This event is presented by Toyota, and we have had everything. We've had the rain, we've had the race start on wet weather tires, the competition caution to change to dries, some terrific racing, a variety of leaders like Josh Berry, Ryan Blaney, Shane Van Gisbergen, William Byron, Bubba Wallace. We've had some crashes, we've had controversy.
We've had confusion.
Confusion.
Add that to the list.
Over which Mexican dish?
Oh.
Yes, it's...
what a day.
What a day.
Look at that, though. This place is full and fun. Man, it's been quite a day for these fans.
Yeah, and you also have the rain probably kept some people away, but the 21 car, Steve, in position to win a race, it's been a struggle on pit road.
Yeah, clean right side. They go to the left side. It's hard to tell from this angle exactly what happens. Right rear or left rear is pretty quick. Left front, slow to be tightened up. Very heads up by the jack man, not dropping the jack too soon. We see that happen a lot, but definitely a slow left front on the 21.
This is the 88 car from earlier. I wanted to go back and revisit it. I believe he's got the front brakes locked up so the car won't turn. And then when he gets down there far enough, he can't lift off the front brakes because it's not going to slow down. So just a really difficult situation. I've been there, done that, made that mistake.
And can tell you that Connor Zilich has been released from the infield medical. A lot of frustration too. There was some radio from that young man about that incident. So,
all right, Steve, a lot of 2 tires, 4 tires.
71 to go. I'm not committing. This is the last pit stop.
All right, well, let's get to it. The credit ones to watch. Jeff, you're up first.
Well, you just can't count him out. Joey Logano spun on lap 84. Then he stayed out, got back in the lead lap, took 2 tires from 16th, and now he is sitting here running in 4th.
Well, how about Bubba Wallace? He really showed up on that last run, currently 6th. First guy with 4 fresh tires. He's led 6 of the last 7 races this season. Maybe this is the race where he leads near the end.
Can I go for a little local flavor?
Sure.
His home's only, less than 3 hours away in Connecticut, Berlin, Connecticut. There's Ryan Preece, the 36-year-old father of 2. He's never had a top 10 here, and he's fighting to try and get into the chase, and he's had one of his best days of the year. Ryan Blaney at the front, trying to defend his win, and look who's going with him. His teammates in the mix there. Wallace pushes through on the inside. Blaney, Briscoe, they're all there. Zane Smith and Joey Logano stretch their legs down the back straight. "70 laps to go from here. Will we have the story of who took 2 and who took 4 on that last stop? Is that going to be the story of the day?
Starting to see some shadows from the cars. The sun has poked through the clouds. I don't know if that'll change the handling.
Oh, the 21 making a late lunge into turn 1.
They're going to go 3 wide, and Berry's going to be laughing if he can pull that one off.
He does not have time to mess around. He's got to go.
Did he get at least one? He got Larson. Locks up. He locks up a little bit going into 3.
Oh, the wheel's off. The 24 has lost the left side wheel. I'm assuming that's off the 24 since he's backwards. I'm guessing left rear by the angle in which that car is laying.
It's the left rear from a long time ago, Rudy Fugle just said. And William coming to green said, something does not feel right. I don't know what's going on, but something does not feel right. Clearly, it was the left rear tire.
Just started on the front row. Last on pit road at 227, but remember, they only changed 2 tires. They hadn't changed 4 tires in quite some time.
Add that of crazy things that have happened today. Let's show you again what happened to the 24 of William Byron. Lead car in this shot.
You see it smoking already, getting down in the corner, and right here, he knows he has a problem, but it's nothing he can do. And there it goes. That is a helpless thing for a driver. There's absolutely nothing he could do.
View from Ty Gibbs. Christopher Bell's view.
Trouble for the 24, not more than just this wreck, but since the tire came off on the racetrack, there's going to be some suspensions of pit crew. It's in the rule books, but it's 2 weeks. So when you talk about heading into the chase, you know, we reset at Daytona, but then you go to Darlington, which is the mono 4 tires all day long, 8, 9, 10 pit stops, and they're going to lose a couple crew members. So we'll have to just see as that progresses throughout the week. But I think the last time they were on 4 tires, they had like a 9-second pit stop, a great pit stop back at lap 203. That would be the last time the left side was changed. They came on 227. They only changed 2. You would think if they knew they had an issue, Jeff, they would have just changed 4 when they came down to 227. So they must have felt that the issue was, you know, that it had no issue, I guess is my point.
So I know we've already done our Credit One Bank ones to watch. Can I add? Can I be greedy and add another one to that?
You're going to take William Byron?
No. Have a look at Zane Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this. A Front Row Motorsports Ford. He's on the same strategy play as Blaney and Briscoe and Bubba, not Bubba Wallace, but others around him. He's had 2 starts here. His best is 27th, and Zane Smith runs 4th.
And I will tell you, while I do believe Blaney has had the best car today, he needed, or he wanted that thing to kind of run. Because Wallace jumped up on those 4 tires. Priest jumped up on those 4 tires. You know what I mean, Jeff? 4 tires, got a couple spots, and now we're going to reset them again.
Yeah, and the restarts are only going to get more aggressive. We've seen how aggressive they are already. You're going to have to just take it to the next level. Briscoe and Blaney, those guys have been battling each other all day. They're 1st and 2nd. Berry did a good job. He got a little bit of help there, obviously, with the 24 problem, but he did a good job. He's back up to 8th.
Tell you who else has done a good job, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Remember, Ricky went around early in the race, and that Hayek team has just ground and worked its way back up into the top 15. So we are not done here yet in New Hampshire. Want to draw your attention to next Saturday night. It's the Coke Zero Sugar 400 Daytona International Speedway on NBC under the lights at Daytona. It's going to be so much fun. Pre-race begins at 7 Eastern, and we'll go racing at 7:30 again next weekend on NBC.
It's going to be a lot on the line. We talk about positioning for points, and in that race, it could be very, very critical on who makes these chases or this chase or not. And One person that he's sitting there running 26 right now, Austin Cindric. You know, he is one of those guys that he's going to need to go to Daytona potentially and have a good run.
And I'll add, with now 30 cars on the lead lap with all this string of cautions, that you can be having a good day and have an issue on the backstretch coming to the checkered and give up 10, 15, 20 points.
Scoring just updated. Cindric is actually 19th.
Yeah, pardon me, I misspoke too because scoring hadn't updated when I was talking about Ricky Stenhouse up as high as 15th. He's further back than that.
So now with 65 to go, Steve, it is, you said it earlier, this race tends to be calm, long green flag runs, then you get a caution, and then it turns into chaos. And I need, as a driver, I have to go get positions, and I don't want restarts. There's no other way. You have to be aggressive. You got to go make stuff happen. Obviously, you don't want to cross the line and get yourself in trouble, but there's no choice. And on top of that, you talked about the sun coming out earlier. The track is different now than it has been all day long. Who made the right changes? Who's made the right adjustments to their car?
If you can believe it, after all of that, your old buddy the Hurricane diff.
Yeah,
back on the
lead lap, 21st.
Yeah, and I only bring that up, you know, just off pit road, 4 fresh tires. If there's anybody that can cannonball on the scene late in the race, I'm not saying go up and race for the win, but make these restarts a little more interesting. I would say Carson Hocevar has all the ingredients to make a restart more interesting.
Got his teammate Daniel Suarez right ahead of him. Let's check in with Dave Burns. What you got, Dave-O?
Gotta love 3-time champ Joey Logano. After his team fixed the car and he was in the free pass position, he said, yeah, kind of wanders the straightaway, but I guess it's not awful. They got back on the lead lap. They are running in the top 10, Kim.
And for Ryan Preece, they've set the stage on who in front of him has 2 tires, who has 4. They feel very good on the long run. Their strength today, Marty, has been balanced. Migration has been very minimal.
Kim, Lee mentioned it could come down to who took 2 and who took 4. Jonathan Hassler told me the decision to put Blaney back out front with a right side tire change was, quote, a no-brainer. Lee, the best car all day long, sits here with the lead with 64 to go. Can they finish it off?
Trying to defend the win of a year ago. Great point. Marty, lights are off on the Toyota Camry XSE. Back into the Echo Park Automotive restart zone. Blaney, Briscoe at the front. They've been turning it on. Wallace is right there. Ryan Preece. Christopher Bell jumps to the inside. Look at that 20. Trying to get through on the inside of Preece and then just ease back a little bit. Zane Smith, Josh Berry.
Briscoe side by side with Blaney. Briscoe ranks first in restarts this year.
Down the inside, driving it hard into turn 3. Briscoe and Blaney door to door. This is good stuff from these guys. Preece and Wallace, Bell and Smith. Already big lockup from Josh Berry into turn 1.
Blaney's going to clear Briscoe right here. Oh, no, he's not.
Ford versus Toyota in the first 4 positions. This is good stuff. Late in the race in this Dollar Tree 301. 60 laps to go.
I thought Blaney had Briscoe beaten a lap ago right here. But that 19 car with really good grip on the exit of 2.
How about Noah Gragson having a terrific run in the top 10? Talk about those front row motorsports Fords. Now Blaney clearly ahead of Briscoe. Berry and Larson, they're still scrapping it out. Fighting over 7th place a little further back. There they are right there, bottom box.
Larson got by Berry a couple laps ago in 3 and 4.
Bubba Wallace cleared for 3rd on those 4 tires versus 2. We'll see what kind of speed that 23 car has. He's rolled up kind of on the back bumper of the 19. And Blaney is stretching.
Sure is. Let's check out who has the Xfinity fastest lap, and it is the Hurricane, Carson Hocevar. Hasn't been the day he wanted. He's 3 wide on the inside there, by the way. And he said that on lap 143. This is Ty Gibbs and Josh Berry going at it. Denny Hamlin is watching what they're up to down into turn 3.
Not the restart Josh Berry needed. Oh, Gibbs way up the racetrack.
This place frustrates drivers. There are going to be some very angry is maybe not the right word, but just frustrated drivers at what the racing here today.
Look at the 4 of Noah Gragson. Having a terrific run, 11th. He's almost up there with his best this season where he finished 9th at Talladega. He's got a new contract extension, feeling good about life, and he's up there racing hard. The fight for second. Bubba Wallace for 23-11 Racing on the inside of Chase Briscoe. Last year's winner is this year's leader, Blaney out front. Everybody is chasing Team Penske's Ryan Blaney. He has not only cleared those he was racing with, like Chase Briscoe and Bubba Wallace earlier, he's cleared out. But the big difference is, come back to that decision. Do you take 2 or do you take 4? Well, we've got an even split at the front because Blaney, who pitted on 227, the same as everybody else, took 2 tires. Bubba Wallace, who is chasing him down, took 4. Is that going to be the winning difference with 52 laps to go? Zepp on board. Chase Briscoe looking at one of his JGR teammates.
Yeah, he's going the wrong way. It wasn't long ago we saw him racing Blaney for second.
As Josh Berry arrives on the scene. 4 tire stop for Josh as well that last time.
Josh passed the 5 car. A couple laps ago, Larson got by Berry on the restart. Berry had to fight him and get back by, and it cost Berry a lot of track position. But the fast race car, that pit stop they had a little bit ago could really be costly. He's doing a good job of getting himself back through the field.
The difference is, in years past, Jeff, that would probably have been the last pit stop of the race regardless. With the tire fall off this year, I don't think it'll be just an easy decision to come put 4 tires on it. Probably some guys will think they can stay on old tires, 2, 4. It'll be a mixed bag once again, but tip of the hat to Goodyear for bringing that option. This has been a choice. You know how it was as a driver, Jeff, with 60 to go, you kind of look at the cars in front of you. Unless we had a restart or a mistake, that was where you were probably going to settle in.
Well, and also, you know, you don't know what's going to happen with Blaney as this run goes on. It could start falling off on speed. Larson completing the pass. Blaney might fall off, and
Oh, Eric Jones.
That's all the way off turn 2 as well.
Tell us more, Dave.
Transmission problem for the 43 of Eric Jones. Such a good weekend for the whole company and the sponsor, and this is not the way he wanted to end it.
His results of late don't reflect how much improvement this car, this team has made. The numbers don't tell the story, unfortunately, for Eric Jones, and that's day done.
There's a road course down here that he's gonna use to get back to pit road. I believe it's finally shut off.
Tell you what, that 2-tire call is working just fine right now for Blaney. He's extending his lead over Bubba Wallace. It's gone from 1.4 to 1.6 seconds just in the last lap. Meanwhile, here comes Christopher Bell on Ryan Preece. That would be the fight for third. And Bell is one of those 4-tire stoppers, but then again, so was Preece. So we'll see. This is a fair fight. 47 to go from here.
See the back of the car, that 60 moving around a little bit on corner entry, a little bit free.
Toyota Racing on board of Christopher Bell. What do you like that you hear? What do you like that you see, Jeff?
I like Briscoe, what he's able to do. I'm sorry, not Briscoe, Preece. It's a little free right there. You can see how loose he is on corner entry, but Bell's taking advantage of it. But the 60's really good right here. On corner exit, he runs that second lane. That free on corner entry is really difficult to deal with. The positive is right here, the car turns, points, and it makes really good rear grip on corner exit. The corners are so long here, Steve, it's impossible to make your car do everything right. Preece giving up corner entry speed to make the middle and exit better.
And as these two kind of got stuck side by side, that's reeled in that 21 of Josh Berry. He's hoping he can get a little diamond maybe and try to get the 20 and the 60. There you go, up the track. Gonna try to get it turned off this third lane. Gas it up.
This is huge for Ryan Preece. He hasn't had a top 5 all season, and he sits in third at the moment, 44 laps from home, and fighting to try and make it into the chase.
You talked about a hometown from Connecticut, the driver, Mohawk Construction on board as well, longtime supporter of Ryan Preece. We've seen that on modifieds and a lot of things he's driven. I love that when the area of the country supports their driver, right?
Oh, yeah.
Partners come out, fans come out.
And they take a lot of pride in the success Ryan Preece has had. They really do. When you here, you see a lot of Ryan Preece t-shirts.
And it's special to him. It means so much to race in the Northeast. He came here as a kid, used to ride his bicycle around here when his grandfather camped here and the rest of his family. Here he is racing in the top 3. .40 laps to go. That's all here in Loudon, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And Ryan Blaney keeps extending his lead in that Menards Ford. Top box, there he is. Bubba Wallace has not been able to reel the defending winner in just yet.
Not yet, but the last 2 laps, Bubba Wallace has been faster than Ryan Blaney. Blaney's out quite a bit on him, almost 2 seconds. Let's see what this lap gets us. Josh Berry's not been able to get by those 2 cars. Bubba Wallace still a little bit faster. Let's cut that lead down, Steve, under 2 seconds.
Yeah, you got to remember 2 versus 4 tires. It's not a huge difference, just a handful of laps on the left sides, but it all makes a difference, and it makes a bigger difference the longer we run.
All right, let's get an update on the top 6 cars. We start with Ryan Blaney and we start with Marty Snyder. Marty?
Lee, so many stories of recovery in that top 6, including Ryan Blaney. Remember that pit crew issue they had earlier in the race? Blaney fell back in traffic, was very frustrated with the race team, but they kind of put their head forward. Lately, they have been so good in the first half of races for this 12 team. Well, today, a nice recovery, terrific call by Jonathan Hassler, and they have the lead right now with 37 to go. Recovery for Bubba Wallace from qualifying yesterday when he was very upset. They started 23rd today, but on pace and on merit, Bubba has driven to the front of the field, still dealing with the same handling issues, Kim. He's fought all weekend long, but he's made it work here at New Hampshire, sitting in second.
And Ryan Preece has more comfortability here than any other place, so I asked him what a home run at this track would be. He said a lot of stage points they've done earned 10 today. He said contend for a win, running third. I'd say they'd also done that. He said without a doubt, I feel like Penske has shown that the short track program for Ford is there. It's up to RFK to answer. I certainly think the 16 Marty today has answered that call.
Kim, remember one of the first stops of the day for Christopher Bell. Caught his right front tire changer, Blake Houston, when they were trying to do right side tires only, and they have recovered as well. Coming up through the field, Bell still trying to get Ryan Preece right now for that 3rd spot, Lee.
Have a look at this for racing, and here comes Josh Berry. Berry tries to go right through the middle. That door got closed. Bell is clear of Preece. And today, the ever-present Josh Berry is there again.
Josh Berry knows that he has 4 tires, and if he could get clear of these guys, you never know what's going to happen.
34 to go. And Bubba Wallace has just shaved about 3/10 of a second off Ryan Blaney. This is it, 1st to 2nd.
He has consistently been faster than Blaney. Blaney just ran his slowest lap. He's running quite a few that time by. 1/10 of a second, Wallace is quicker.
It has been somewhat of a drought for Bubba. 38 races since his last win, the Brickyard 400 at Indy last year. He's had a couple of top 3s this year. Really good runner-up spot in San Diego, Coronado, but he would love to get a win.
Josh Berry will clear Christopher Bell. He has enough position on him now.
Berry wants a yellow. One more chance at this.
I think Josh Berry, when he gets clear, I think he's going to be quite a bit faster than the 2 in front of him. I don't know if he has enough time.
Can't tell if Bubba Wallace is faster than Blaney or if Blaney just gets out there and manages his lead a little bit because it
fluctuates.
Yeah, inconsistent. Normally when drivers are pushing to their limit, the lap time's almost more consistent because they're right against the ceiling of the race car. But when you're at 90%, you know, it's kind of like target racing. You bump around, your lap time's a little bit more. Well, it's crystal clear that the 21's way better than the 20 because that gap is growing rapidly. This will be a first lap in clean air. Let's look. Left side of
the 23 ran about the exact same speed. The 21, the fastest.
Question is 2/10 or 1/10 and a half over 30 laps? It's going to be a long way to travel. I think his real hope is that the 12 maybe catches some traffic at the back of the field. It's about a quarter of a straightaway ahead. I don't know if he'll really get there. I guess he will, probably in the next 10 or 12 laps.
As we watch and enjoy this, I want to draw your attention to a couple of other things that are going on. Front Row Motorsports at the moment with Zane Smith and Noah Gragson have 2 of their 3 cars in the top 10. That's an outstanding result. Tyler Reddick, 5-time winner this year, who started on the pole, spun around by himself before the first lap in the wet was complete, regathered himself and has worked his way back up to 12th, ahead of Briscoe and Logano, the battle we're watching right now. Hocevar, who was involved in what could be argued a self-induced crash earlier in this race. He's been in 2 cautions, has worked his way back to 15th behind these guys. Shane Van Gisbergen, who came into this race 16th in the chase standings, sits in 20th. It has been a mixed day for a good number of drivers.
Sorry, Lee, it wasn't that long ago we saw Briscoe in this 19 car racing Blaney, and it has gone the wrong way, complaining about the car not turning, won't rotate the middle, then it gets to the straights, and it just spins the rear tires. Not a good run. Marty.
Yeah, and you can see the struggling in the center of the corner for the 19, and they're also talking about how much speed they give up on entry. Yeah, great point, Jeff. A moment ago, Chase Briscoe was battling for the lead. Now he's trying to hang on there way back in, where is he? 14th right now, trying to hang on to that over Hocevar.
You see how high the 19's running in the corner. Compare him to this 77. The 19 runs up clear out of the dark pavement area. Look at that. That's like the 4.5 lane.
All right, there's some traffic coming up ahead for race leader Ryan Blaney. He's entering down into turn 3, and as our director Sean Owens and our brilliant production crew here pull out to show us the bigger picture, there's that gathering of traffic. That could be advantageous for Bubba Wallace. It could be problematic for Blaney. We'll see.
I still not count Josh Berry out. If something slows this 12 car down like this traffic you're talking about, Josh Berry is quite a bit. He is 2 to 3 tenths faster than this 12 car. 25 laps to go. He's going to have a little help, but that is by far the fastest car on the racetrack.
Blaney, Bubba, and Berry to fight it out with 24 to go when he crosses the line this time. Dave Burns, tell us more about Josh Berry.
They just radioed the driver and told him it's going to be close, but you should catch them by the end of this race. You point out he's the fastest car now, so the 21 driver knows he's got the pace. That's just not just hyperbole. Neither is his last 4 weeks. 3 single-digit finishes in a row. Another one looking good today.
All right, first piece of traffic taken care of by Ryan Blaney. More to come. Gap is 1.7 seconds to Bubba Wallace. It was Cody Ware, Austin Dillon he's got by. John Hunter Nemechek is the next, and does that fairly easily.
Can't do it much better.
Back to Dave's point about Josh Berry. He's 2 seconds behind Bubba Wallace. We'll continue to watch that gap. And he has been driving seemingly angry today. He's been frustrated. He's been fired up on the radio. He's fighting for his future. We don't know where he can go, but he's proving a point to whomever may be the next employer. I am worth hiring. This is how good I can drive.
There's enough time, but he's going to have to get through the lap traffic that Blaney just got through. He's going to have to just shred through them, Steve. He cannot waste any time. Now, Blaney's going to catch other traffic, but if you look at the math, his crew chief wasn't lying to him.
I think it comes down to Bubba Wallace. I'm not concerned about the lap traffic. I'm concerned about Blaney or Bubba Wallace holding Berry up. If he holds him up for 4 or 5 laps, that I think will be the real sticking point for Josh Berry. That 23 car right there.
Traffic cleared by Wallace.
And Blaney just ran a really good lap right there. Not as fast as Berry, but it doesn't have to be. He's got a big enough lead, but you can see how much he's cut into the lead just in a few laps.
And with 45, 46 laps on your tires, a caution would necessitate a pit stop, I believe. The whole field would come down. I think it'd be a huge gamble to stay out on these older tires. Pace is slowed down over a second.
Berry's catching Wallace. It's down to 1.4 seconds between those two. Race is on. Just over 20 miles left in this, with 19 laps remaining. Can Berry get by Cody Ware and John Hunter Nemechek effectively and not lose too much time to Bubba Wallace to give himself a chance? He's 3.5 seconds behind race leader Blaney.
Blaney's done an incredible job of just ripping right through traffic. Just has timed it right, Steve. Hasn't got himself in a jam where he lost a lot of lap time. He made a pass there and ran as fast as within 1/10 of a second of what he ran the lap before.
Yeah, it's impressive what he's able to do on just those two fresh right side tires. Great call by the team. I know they had a hiccup on that pit crew earlier, but Jonathan Hassler bounced back with an aggressive two-tire call to give his driver track position. Here's the William Byron car. Remember, he started on the front row just a couple restarts ago, lost that left rear tire.
And look, let's balance it out here. You're giving the crew chief credit. With Jeff standing here, let's give the driver credit. He had to control his temperament when things didn't go well.
Very much.
And he dropped to 14th place. He didn't lose his mind. He didn't lose composure. Methodically worked his way back up through the field. Still boasts a 1.8 second lead over Bubba Wallace. 3.5 seconds over Berry. Laps are winding down. There'll be just 16 left when Ryan Blaney of Team Penske crosses the line now. The 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champ. If he's going to win a second, he'll need to be in the mix at Homestead Miami Speedway in November. What kind of a race is that going to be to crown a champion? Great to go back to Homestead for the finale. That's what 1.8 seconds looks like. From Blaney to Wallace. Now it's out closer to 2 seconds.
You know, this run for Bubba Wallace will, if they're able to finish it off, it'll also take a lot of pressure off the what ifs. You know, we look at numbers and say, oh, well, that will never happen. I can tell you as a competitor, you don't start counting points until somebody says you're official. And I don't believe he'll be locked. Currently, as we're riding around, he'll be at plus 72, which isn't a mathematical certainty. But barring something major in the first stage, he could lock in very early at Daytona. And at 72 points, I think he'd have to figure if he just goes down there and does what he does in the speedways, even if he gets caught up in a wreck, it would have to be a miraculous run by both Preet, SVG, and Cindric to eliminate him. 3 guys would have to run amazing.
Well, this is a miraculous run from Josh Berry. Look at him here, right alongside Ty Dillon. Clears Ty, and he's now just 1 second behind Bubba Wallace. This 21 Wood Brothers Ford, there is no lying down. He has driven at times ferociously today.
50 lap, green flag run. Tires are hot, drivers are tired. Brakes are worn out, frustrations are high. Both at your day and other drivers, can we stay clean for the last 13 laps?
Quick reminder, next Saturday night, Under the Lights, World Center of Racing on NBC. The last regular season race before we go into the chase in Daytona.
It's always a spectacle down at Daytona.
Love it.
And the summer.
You know, Blaney wants to just take it easy around these cars, but he really can't. He just, you know, Bubba Wallace is close enough, 1.3 seconds back, to where Blaney has got to make this, he's got to get by him.
Jeff, that's the closest gap we've seen.
Yes, and
that is the closest.
And as he's caught these 2 cars, he's lost a lot of pace.
Get these guys out of the way.
Yeah.
Yep. Working on it now.
Oh, another big chunk. 0.3 of a second. Back-to-back laps. Over a half a second taken up by Wallace in 2 laps.
If you didn't hear the radio, Blaney said, help me get these guys out of the way. Pretty crazy when he just blows by Chase Briscoe like that when they were fighting for position genuinely earlier in this race.
And Bubba has to feel refreshed. He can see it. Don't overdrive it, Bubba. Stay patient. He's coming to you a little at a time.
1 second even with 10 laps to go. Is it doable for Bubba Wallace? Let's not discount Josh Berry either. Berry's 1.8 seconds behind Blaney. There he is, bottom of the screen. 2 seconds covering the top 3 cars. This is awesome.
There's more lap traffic ahead. Blaney's got about probably 3 laps before he gets to this traffic. Maybe 2.
That helped. Bubba, lap traffic cost him a couple tenths of a second.
Good clearance of Briscoe by Berry there. So he's got a clear view of this man here, Bubba Wallace.
Berry's got the best car. He just has to have a little bit of help.
They are so agonizingly close to Ryan Blaney. And now just 8 laps to go from here.
Well, a year ago, it was Berry trying to pass Blaney there, but he just wasn't as close. This year, a little bit of a hiccup on that pit stop. Lost a little bit of track position. He is slipping and sliding, giving it all it's worth from behind the wheel. Bubba now has no one between him and Blaney. 4 cars ahead for Blaney. It could be a determining factor. How will he catch him? And Bubba has it under a second.
And here's that traffic. Here's that traffic. How are they going to treat the leader? The 16 of Allmendinger.
Oh boy, there's 4 cars there. 4 cars for the leader to negotiate with Bubba Wallace just zeroing in on him.
Allmendinger's the last car on the lead lap.
It'll be under a half a second. Under a half a second this time by if Bubba can pick up the gas as he's been.
Oh, Blaney wanted that big run on corner exit. Didn't get it.
6 to go. Blaney, Bubba, Berry. 1, 2, 3. This is as close as these guys have been. Traffic is playing its hand. Now it's Wallace's turn to try and clear that first car in line, which is AJ Allmendinger. Custer is next up for Blaney.
Blaney went to the gas really early on corner exit, and it did not work.
No, I would say that was advantage Bubba going by Allmendinger. Now the 12's going to be stuck at the bottom. Will he have a clear exit? Or will the 41 be there? The 41's gassing it up.
Off track, these guys are great mates. On track, they're competitors for 2 rival teams. Oh, and a big lockup from Bubba Wallace.
That was it. That was the mistake he just couldn't make if he thought he had a chance to win the race. The left front lockup is going to cost him 0.3 of a second, perhaps. What a recovery, though. That's what we were talking about earlier. The extra horsepower allowed him to turn it down the hill. Runs nearly the same lap time of Blaney, even with that huge lockup.
That was wild. We're inside the final 4 laps. Cole Custer gives Bubba Wallace plenty of room. Composure, decision making, being displayed at its highest level.
It's still not over. There's still traffic he's got to get through.
There's definitely traffic, but he's going to be frustrated about that very simple mistake of locking the left front up. It's so easy to do. They are right on the edge of control. He'll try to bonsai it under the 97. Will SVG allow him the corner to exit?
Yep.
He will.
20th place SVG, who started in 5th. Meanwhile, there's 2 laps to go for Ryan Blaney to defend his win of a year ago. What a comeback from 14th place. A hiccup on pit road. This most recent stop, a 2-tire call versus Bubba Wallace's 4-tire call. What a drive from Blaney. Hocevar stays out of the way, lets the race leader go by. Bubba throws everything he's got at him again. Time may beat him. From here, there is 1 lap to go, presented by Credit One Bank. Ryan Blaney, Bubba Wallace, Team Penske, 23-11. and in almost a carbon copy of a year ago, where Ryan Blaney led 116 laps. When he sees the checkered flag, he will have led 115 laps this year. It'll be his third win on the season, and back-to-back here in New Hampshire, Ryan Blaney victorious. What a drive for the Team Penske man.
Guys. Great job. Appreciate the fast car all weekend. Thanks for sticking in there. Good call, Jonathan. Congratulations, guys. Been 2 in a row. That's awesome.
The 12 teams celebrate. The Menards Ford is going to victory lane. So put Phoenix, Atlanta, and Loudon on the win list for Ryan Blaney.
Impressive performance. A poor pit stop perhaps was going to derail the 12's effort today, but not so. All the way back to 14th, but between, as you mentioned it, a level-headed driver and a crew chief that believed in his team, took 2 tires, cycled his driver back to the front, and then what a miraculous drive. A fast car, but his decisions in traffic, quite outstanding. Never really got himself in a really bad spot to lose that big chunk of time he couldn't afford to lose.
Especially when he saw Wallace looming in the mirror. Quick reminder, Progressive post-race show coming up. Stick around. We'll have plenty to come, plenty of reaction. Jeff Burton's run out of the booth. He's headed down trackside to be with Marty for that Progressive post-race show on USA. Plenty to talk about, plenty to follow up on in the lead up to Daytona. But how satisfying and gratifying is that to defend his win of a year ago, third win on the season, more super valuable points as he edges a little bit closer to championship leader Denny Hamlin.
Danny with a 77-point lead has to feel really good about Daytona. Down at the cut line, 31 points.
Just yesterday, Ryan was expecting to get his lobster of a year ago that's now on the plaque, which was thanks to his teammate Joey Logano many years ago. That tradition started of putting the lobster on the plaque. So now he's going to have to. And in a complete contrast to the way we started with the rain, the sun now shines on New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it was definitely a damp start, but a beautiful afternoon for racing.
Nice to be home, mate. You love coming back to
It's so great, so great. The fans, the area.
That'll do the job. Kim Coon standing by. This is going to be a very satisfied Ryan Blaney. Kimmy, over to you.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney going back-to-back at New Hampshire to get his third win of 2026 in front of an enthusiastic crowd here at Loudon. You hear the crowd as he pumps his fist. What a rebound for this 12 team after that bobble on pit road. Ryan, man, I was talking about the rebound. You had the bobble on pit road, but then the great call by your crew chief, Jonathan Hassler, to take 2 tires, but you were the only driver that was able to hang on with Chu. How did you do that, especially with how precise you had to be through that lap traffic there at the end?
Yeah, that made it difficult, but no, it was a good call after our issue on pit road. You know, we did 2 at the end to try to hopefully get the lead, and we did, and it was a long run to the end there, the longest run we had, and just try to manage my stuff, and knew those 4-tire guys would probably pressure me eventually, and Bubba kind of came on pretty hard there, and just tried to manage the lap traffic while also trying to manage tire and just not make a mistake. But what a cool race, what a fun day starting in the rain, and ended up being a beautiful day. Everybody who came out, I really appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with us, and hope you enjoyed a good race.
One race to go until the chase starts. You're solidly second in the standings. What does a win now do, just turning up the wick this close to the chase run?
Well, you always want to continue momentum. You know, and Team Penske's been on a heck of a tear the last couple months. So props to everybody at Team Penske who's keeping their head down, working hard. Thank you, Menards, Dutch Boy, Ford Racing, Discount Tire, Body Armor, Dex Imaging, the Worth Group, Advanced Auto Parts. Everything for what they do. It's cool to win here 2 in a row. I look forward to getting another lobster.
Do with a second lobster.
Hang it right up to next to the first one.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Ryan Blaney, a winner here at New Hampshire.